This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erscoa Kayla. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
As we know, keeping active and looking after your well-being is challenging right now. At Harvey Norman, we have the latest range of connected fitness and health products to help you understand more about your health, everyday stress, sleep patterns, and more. Like the TicWatch GTX smartwatch, packed with key features, including a unique bezel design, fitness tracking, sleep monitoring, and a long battery life. Available now for only €99. See harveynorman.ie for our full range of connected fitness and health products. Available for home delivery or click and collect.
Welcome back to Cadbury's Find a Legend, Win a Legend.
What a competition, Ian. And they've just got to pick up a Cadbury pack for the chance to win.
They could score Petr Cech's incredible VIP weekend at Chelsea, or there's Robbie Fowler's luxury Liverpool experience.
Or a VIP match day with me, Gary Neville. Result.
Find a Legend shirt inside your Cadbury pack to win big. Plus thousands more prizes at legends.cadburyfc.com. T's and C's apply.
There's certain matchday sounds we are all missing. But there are others we don't have to. Is Carlsberg Pilsner the best beer to enjoy while watching the match at home? Probably. Carlsberg Pilsner, probably the best beer in the world. Enjoy Carlsberg sensibly. Visit drinkaware.ie.
Grant has been providing reliable, efficient and affordable home heating technology for over 40 years. From the award-winning Grant Vortex condensing oil boiler to the highly efficient Arona heat pump, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.eu.
Ronaldo and Messi, a rivalry for our times. But like everyone striving to be best in their field, they need each other. They drive each other on. Like me and Mick, the other voiceover guy. Right, Mick?
Toothpaste. It's paste for your teeth.
He's so annoying. Well, something that is unrivaled is Paddy Power's offer of a free bet if one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down.
Paddy Power.
Stay in your lane, Mick. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes enhanced match odds. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Sheffield United from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Fulham, Crystal Palace and Manchester City defender Kit Symons, and this is Premier League Live. We've got some very dramatic music playing out from around the Etihad Stadium as we prepare for kick-off in what could be a fairly epic encounter. Manchester City obviously huge favourites heading in, as they've been to go 4 points clear in the Premier League for a few hours at least. But Sheffield, who looked absolutely dead and buried a few weeks ago, 2 wins in 3 in the Premier League now, 4 wins in 5 in all competitions, and Chris Wilder's men have got a little bit of momentum. Pep Guardiola and Chris Wilder just having a socially distant chat beneath us, and Kit Symons will bring you back in here. A word on Pep, a word on City, and whether or not they may well end up being champions.
Well, they're certainly my team. They were from the start of the season, and you know the way things have gone recently, I'm certainly not going to change my opinion on that. They're looking really, really strong. I mean, the great thing with them for me is the way they've tightened up defensively. You know, John Stones has been an absolute revelation, and I mean, what a signing Diaz has been.
Let's run you through the teams one more time then here on Premier League Live. Manchester City with 5 changes to the side that won 5-0 at West Brom on Tuesday. It's Ederson in goal, a back 4 of Alexander Zinchenko, Emerick Laporte, Ruben Diaz and Kyle Walker. Fernandinho, the veteran skipper, returns in midfield alongside Bernardo Silva and the informed Ilkay Gundogan. And it's Ferran Torres, Gabriel Jesus and young Phil Foden up front. Stephen Stones, interestingly, Sterling, Rodri, Mendy, Mahrez, Cancelo, Garcia and Bernabe are the subs. And Sheffield United, 4 changes to the team that won 2-1 at Manchester United so magnificently on Wednesday. 3-5-2 formation, Aaron Ramsdale in goal, Ethan Ampadu, Chris Basham and John Egan, the skipper, returning from suspension at the back. George Baldock and Jayden Bogle, the wing-backs, with Oliver Norwood, John Fleck and John Lundstrom in midfield. Rhian Brewster and Ollie Burt, the man who who scored the winner at Old Trafford, are up front. And it's Fodringham, McBurney, Sharp, Mousset, Lowe, Jagielka, McGoldrick, Bryan and Gordon, the replacements. And your referee this afternoon is David Coote. We're underway on Premier League Live with Manchester City in their traditional sky blue tops, blue shorts and sky blue socks, playing from left to right. And Sheffield in their change kit. It's a fetching salmon pink top, salmon pink trim on the shorts and salmon pink socks with black shorts. Just the kind of thing you wear on a Saturday night out, I think, isn't it, Kit?
Well, the times you could go out on a Saturday night, I'm not sure salmon pink was my colour necessarily anyway. We did years ago. I actually had an away kit with Portsmouth when I first started, which was salmon pink as well. And not been seen too often since.
I've got a salmon pink shirt I used to wear as a glad rag, but as you rightly say, gathering moths and not seen for a long old time with the battle in the pandemic, which hopefully we will win sooner rather than later and slowly get back to more and more reality and normality. But as things stand, of course, it's still behind closed doors, this game. You can hear pretty much every grunt, every shriek, every cry of the players, the managers. It's a different experience as City continue to come forward early in this game. The recalled Fernandinho. Gundogan with a little touch to Zinchenko. Doesn't quite work out, and Sheffield United win it back through Rhian Brewster, their young striker. Confidence on the ball from Chris Basham, who tries to guide it past a combination of Jesus and Foden. He does so and finds George Baldock, the right wing back. And we know, Kit, don't we, that Sheffield United, despite their lack of good results largely, they are confident on the ball.
Yeah, they are. Chris has got a way that he likes his team to play, and when they're in good run of results or not so good, he's going to stick to his beliefs, and his team will keep doing similar things. And I sort of admire him for that. You need to change a few things when it's not going well, and I'm sure he's also willing to do that. But his core beliefs he's stuck to.
Well, City lost the ball temporarily and have now won it back. And just a reminder, at TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in from around the world, whether it's on Sheffield United, on City for this game or for the rest of the season in terms of the title for City and yet defying the odds and staying up for Sheffield. Let us know. And where you're listening from around the world. Tell us where you are, what you're up to, and if you can, send us a picture as well. We love to hear from you. At TalkSport Live on Twitter, 2.5 played here at the Etihad, where it's City 0, Sheffield United 0. And Kit, I've done quite a few City games recently. We did one together a couple of weeks ago, and it's rare to have a game where it's not raining. What's going on?
Well, that's right, yeah. I'm not listen, it's early days yet, 2.5 minutes in. I'm sure the rain will come. I mean, I had 3 and a bit years up there and saw plenty of rain in that time, that's for sure. So, but great part of the world and brilliant people, but yeah, the weather's not always the best, I've got to say. And the pitch, as a result of that bad weather, isn't looking too bad, is it? No, the ground staff here, I think, do a brilliant job, and it's looking in fine nick with all the rain that we've had, and also the makeup of the pitches these days, the Deso weave, and they're very sort of durable and hard wearing, and the drainage systems are incredible now as well. So pitches have certainly come on so much over recent years. Zinchenko finds Gundogan from the left edge of the penalty area. This is the first meaningful attack of the game. Ferran Torres, the young striker, signed for big money and has largely done well when he's had his slightly limited opportunities, particularly in the Premier League. His effort is blocked and it rebounds to Bernardo Silva. Back to Fernandinho. The veteran Brazilian tries to jink one in, and it's well blocked by the Northern Irishman Oliver Norwood, who heads it out of play. City tried to take a quick throw, which the referee is unhappy with. I think, has he called a foul throw there? Yeah, foul throw. Bernardo Silva just was leaning right forward and... Oh, yeah? Didn't go back behind his head properly, did it? No, that's right. He's sort of leaning forward and tried to get it in really quick, but it was... Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy from him, really. I mean, it's something you're seeing more and more of these days, foul throws. I saw one the other day as well, and I can't remember who was with me. It wasn't you, but they were saying there's going to be massive dressing room fines for that. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things that just shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does. And I think is it Hector Bellerin, or I saw do 2 or 3 in a game once. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, this is so basic, but listen, it does happen from time to time. But he's spoke about him earlier, actually. He's not very good at throw-ins, but he's a player who's really coming into form, Bernardo Silva, and looking really good at the moment. I totally agree. He was pretty quiet at the start of this season, having been excellent largely for his first couple at the club, but he's been bang on it in recent times, as have the likes of Foden, Gundogan, and even though there is no De Bruyne now, and
There's barely been an Aguero all season. There are other star performers, young and old, foreign and homeborn, who are stepping up and delivering. Here comes Sheffield United, though, for the first time in this game. John Lundstrom turning and seeing little in front of him, so going back to Oliver Norwood. And back now to Chris Basham, who finds Norwood again. Basham, the more advanced of the three at the back at the moment. As we know, Sheffield United like to often have one of their back three kind of rampaging forward on rotation, don't they?
That's right, yeah. They play with centre halves who are very, very mobile, happy to get forward and overlap even, you know. And I mean, when they were flying last year, they did it to such great effect. Now, whether people have sort of found that out a little bit or what, I'm not quite sure for this season, but it's certainly not been as effective so far. But when they're in full flow and doing it really well, it's difficult to stop. You know, it's who picks up that centre back coming forward, so they can use it to good effect.
6 minutes played. You're listening to Premier League Live. It's Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield trying to surge forward through Lundstrom. They're fairly easily dispossessed on this occasion. Ferran Torres on this near stand side cuts in and is then dispossessed with a stout tackle from the Scots John Fleck. And Fleck is then upended by Torres and wins a free kick to the Blades about midway inside their own half on this near stand side. Victor Elijah has tweeted in at TalkSport Live saying he's confident that Manchester City will win this game despite Sheffield's excellent win just across town at Manchester United in midweek. Neymar Bucklin's a regular tweeter. Hi from Los Angeles. I've got a feeling that Sheffield United are out there like a tasty salmon snack, given their salmon pink tops, very good, for a grizzly bear to eat them, aka Manchester City. So Neymar reckons that City will absolutely devour their salmon pink opponents today. We shall wait and see. One more for now. Samson Comey saying, I hope that Sheffield do the double over Manchester teams as I listen to you from the police hospital in Accra in Ghana. Well, Samson, we appreciate your thoughts as well. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. 7 gone as City come forward through Kyle Walker, the recalled right back, the England international. As Kit said before kick-off, he and João Cancelo, two great players contesting that right-back position. Cancelo can play left-back as well, but it's Zinchenko who's got that slot today, the young Ukrainian who whips in a dangerous-looking cross. It's headed clear by the returning Sheffield skipper, the Irishman John Egan, who returns from suspension. And Egan is key to have back, isn't he, even though he didn't play in that Man U win.
Yeah, as we spoke about at the top of the programme, Jagielka played and was exceptional, but, you know, John Egan, as soon as he served his suspension, was always going to come back in to the starting lineup. He's a really, really solid player, dependable, and as well as what he brings on the pitch in terms of his performance, is what he gets out of other people as well. His leadership qualities are exceptional.
Now Ferran Torres has hunted down what appeared to be a dead cause here and has won the ball on the dead ball line, and he's got past 2 players. A chance for Jesus, who scores! That was all about Ferran Torres, who did brilliantly to keep the ball in play. He wove his way past 3 players. Ramsdale nearly made the block prone on the floor, but Gabriel Jesus gets a much needed goal. It's been a season of frustration for the young Brazilian, but his 6th of the campaign, 8 minutes in, makes it Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, brilliant from Torres. Like you say, it was not quite a hopeful ball forward from Diaz, really. And Torres, it looks like he fell over, first of all, and there's 2 Sheffield United players around him. It's far too easy. He plays it to Jesus, who's completely free, inside the 6-yard box, but gets the ball stuck under his feet a little bit. Lundstrom who's with him, I think it was, tries to read it and goes out, just leaves him all on his own. He gets a bit stuck under his feet and he has a bit of a panic up, but then manages to adjust and put it into the roof of the net. So really brilliant from Torres, and in the end a good finish from Jesus, but poor defending from Sheffield United. They'll be very, very disappointed with that. Dare
I say that after Jesus' fairly torrid run, where he's looked so devoid of confidence and has been fluffing chances left, right and centre, he effectively fluffed that one, but as you say, he had so much time to regather himself and force it home. I just wonder what that kind of luck, you could say, or at least that goal, will now do for this young man's confidence, because he is a quality player. We just haven't seen it for so long.
That's right. I mean, he was one previous, I think. You know, Aguero was always the top striker.
He was seen as the heir apparent when he came in, wasn't he? And actually kept Aguero briefly out of the team at one point.
Very briefly, and Aguero...
It was like a lifetime ago.
Upped his work rate and has been phenomenal since then when he's played. But he's only 3 starts, Aguero, this season. in the Premier League. So not enough, and so Jesus had a brilliant opportunity, but as you said, Russ, his confidence has been shot. Even there he nearly missed it, but the fact that he didn't, and he scored, now with 80 minutes still to play, his confidence will be up, so it'll be interesting to see what that does for him. And certainly Man City will be hoping he can start stepping up now, and he's working hard enough, just things weren't going his way, and sometimes it can take a bit of luck or a goal coming off your backside even to get you going again.
Yeah, or 3 stabs at it in an acre of space, as was the instance just there. City are back on the attack, started by Bernardo Silva to Fernandinho, who finds Ferran Torres, the man who set the goal up. And on this occasion, he can't quite weave his way through Jayden Bogle, the recalled left wing-back for Sheffield today, the former Derby County youngster. And the ball trickles out of play for a throw. And yeah, you think about City as well, Kit. Without Aguero, with Jesus misfiring, we've seen them give Ferran Torres some opportunities, even though he's kind of more one for the future for me. But often they've actually opted, rather than have Jesus, of going with a false 9 and playing someone like De Bruyne or Foden or whoever, Sterling as their kind of striker as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, he's tried all sorts of different ways of playing it, and they've got such brilliant movement and rotation as well, Man City. But ideally...
Just break away for a second, absolutely. And here is George Baldock, who played a nice little 1-2 with Lundstrom. In the end, the attackers run slightly out of juice. I thought the ball was going to swing out for a corner, but it catches up on the breeze. It is windy out there, even if it's not raining. And the ball is kept in play by Manchester City. And Sheffield United get it back. Good work from Basham, who then maybe overcooks it by trying to beat 2 players. And the centre-half, having pushed forward, means there might be a little bit of a gap at the back for City to exploit on the counter. They can't do that so, though. And the ball looking for Walker was overhit. And the ball trickles out of play. A glimmer there for Sheffield United, but no more in the end.
No, that's right. I mean, they've shown a few little spells already where they're trying to get either side of Fernandinho, the holding midfield player for Man City, and get people to pick up in a little pocket of space and then run at Man City, but it's not easy to do, and also once you do get someone running, then that defence of Man City is in such good form that it's still going to be very difficult. But back to my earlier point, Russ, sorry.
Yes, no, you were right to break away just in case Sheffield United scored.
That's right. I think from a Guardiola point of view, he'd much rather have an orthodox striker who's in form and scoring goals and play that way without a doubt.
Particularly when you're trying to win the Champions League as well, which you've never won.
Massively, exactly. So, like I say, defensively, they've got that bit right at the moment, it looks for all purposes, but you do want that striker firing as well and scoring goals and being a real goal threat to win, like I say, ultimately Premier League titles and ideally Champions League as well.
Yeah, 100%. Now, of course, fighting still on 4 fronts, Manchester City this season, and their 11-game winning run in all competitions, incredible as it is in all 4 of those competitions as well. It is incredibly impressive. 18 unbeaten in all comps, 11 straight wins. They are an absolute behemoth, a colossus that just keeps surging forward. Man City at the moment, they've won a throw as well as Bogle was forced to slide in on Ferran Torres. Pep Guardiola's pretty happy. He's there on the edge of the technical area, shouting, clapping, but still demanding more and more, and that's key from Pep, and really trademark, isn't it, from the boss?
Yeah, it is. He had a little spell, I think, where he sort of his body language became a little bit subdued.
Massively, and he was incredibly curt. He's normally fairly curt in interviews as it is, but there was a period where he was just so rude to all the press.
Well, it certainly was, and you could see, and I say, that linked in with his body language. He wasn't a happy bunny
Fully
whatsoever.
Agree.
But he looks to be back now to what we expect and what
it was most of last season, to be honest, wasn't it?
Well, it was. It went on for a long time, and he didn't look happy at all. But certainly now, he seems to be back with that, and I don't know. Listen, maybe it's the team playing better, rubs off on that, or maybe it's his mentality's improved.
Or a chicken and egg. Could be a bit of both, my friend. Now, we'll just stay with this City counter-attack for a second. Then there's been a goal in that big relegation battle between West Brom and Fulham, second and third bottom. We'll head to Barry Swain at the end of this Manchester City attack. We haven't seen much of Phil Foden or Ilkay Gundogan in this game so far. 2 of City's form players, but they combine nicely there for a second. Sheffield United with 3 men back to try and stilt their progress, so Emerick Laporte is forced to go back to his fellow centre-half Diaz, now to Kyle Walker. City tried their luck on this near stand side, switching the passage of play from left to right. It's all slowed down, so let's quickly head then to the Hawthorns.
Dil Mitrovic slides it through. It's a lovely ball. It's deckled over Reed, and Fulham have the lead. What a start from the Cottagers inside the opening 10 minutes.
Bobby Dekova-Reid gives Fulham a much-needed lead at West Brom. We'll get Kit's thought in a second. Here's Ilkay Gundogan, ball over the top looking for Bernardo Silva. He heads it back trying to find Alexander Zinchenko. Oh, and the ball took a ricochet, and then Silva managed to get his head on it and nearly divert it into the nets for a second goal. Ollie Norwood, I think, was the player up there. A couple of Sheffield United players, Ampadu as well, trying to keep it out. Silva nearly made them pay, and in the end, Aaron Ramsdale makes a smart save, and we stake it at 1-0 only.
Very close, yeah. Ollie Norwood must have a heart-in-mouth moment. I think that would be fair to say that was. He tried to head it back to Ramsdale, but headed it straight to Bernardo Silva, who couldn't quite get enough on it to cause Ramsdale any problems. But, yeah, very risky from Sheffield United there.
Well, we know they like to commit and give it a go where possible. And to their credit, they were trying to build and play from the back. It didn't quite work out. Just a word on the team that you, of course, played for and as a caretaker manager, am I right in saying, in Fulham?
No, as manager
you
as well.
Boss.
Yeah, had a like a season managing them as well. So
big goal.
Massive, or could well be massive. It's a great start for them in this game, and this, as we said at the start, is a game they've got to go and win really today. The fact that there's a little bit of a gap there now, they need to try and close that, and also it's against one of their relegation rivals. So huge game and great start for them.
So it's 0-0 at the moment, Crystal Palace and Wolves. All the goals from Andrew Self as soon as they fly in, and Barry Swain is the other part of our intrepid team of commentators. He's out the Hawthorns, where, as we've just heard, Fulham are a goal up at West Brom. Earlier, 2 goals from Callum Wilson gave Newcastle the first win in the league in 6, as they eased the pressure on Steve Bruce, their beleaguered boss, with a 2-0 win at Everton. That was a bit of a surprise. 5:30 UK time, so in about 2.25 hours, it's Arsenal Man United with Tom Rennie and Paul Parker. 8 p.m. UK, Southampton Aston Villa, Alex Crook and Paul Mortimer. Here, 17 gone on Premier League Live. Manchester City lead Sheffield United by 1-0. That goal scored by Gabriel Jesus, set up by Ferran Torres about 5 or 6 minutes ago. And City, having taken the lead, are happy now to just keep hold of the ball and stroke it around confidently. Gundogan out to the far side. Laporte is in an advanced position. Good to see him back into the team and getting plenty of the ball. Talented Frenchman, came up, of course, playing in Spain and has really blossomed and grown until his serious injury run that he's been on of late at Manchester City. Here's Kyle Walker on the other flank, tries to take the ball around John Fleck and not get for the first time in the game. The resolute John Fleck hacks his man down.
Yeah, he's not one to put out of a challenge.
He's not, is he?
No, he's a fully committed player. You know, he's an honest player. He makes the odd foul because he's very, very committed. But you know, he's the type of player I think Sheffield United will need to get themselves out of the rut they're in at the moment and the position they're in. What won't please Chris Wilder was the number of errors for the goal. You know, it started off quite a hopeful ball forward from Diaz, really. It flicks off a Sheffield United head, and then there's I think it's Ampadu and Bogle, who are both, Torres is on the floor in the penalty box, and they both leave it to each other.
Gundogan takes the free kick, Foden dummying. The loose ball could have gone absolutely anywhere. We had Lundstrom, Basham and Egan all back. None of them truthfully dealt with it. It ricocheted around and effectively cannoned off all of them before Sheffield got it to safety, with several Man City players all buzzing around, but just didn't quite drop to any of them. That wasn't convincing either.
No, it wasn't. I mean, again, it was, you know, fairly sort of hopeful cross into the box, but not dealt with very well at all by Sheffield United, you know, and they managed to get it away to safety in the end, but it was I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe it wasn't. It was a good ball in actually from the free kick.
Hit who was it? Hit Lundstrom's backside at one point.
When you've got the 3 centre halves in there, you expect at least one of them to be dominant and come and head that ball away, and they sort of all let it drop, and then it's ricocheting amongst a couple of them. So, not what Chris Wilder would expect from his defenders.
To their, I say credit, but in their defence kit, I was just looking at this before kick-off. Ender Stevens, Jack O'Connell and Jack Robinson, they're all either centre-halves or players that can play there, and all have at various points in the last season and a half. There's almost another entire defence, plus Sander Berge, who's excellent, who sits in front of them, who's out at the moment. There's a lot of important defensive or defensive-minded players that aren't around at the moment.
Well, there are, but I mean, and I certainly get your point with that, Russ, but also with the team they've got out there, you know, the 3 centre halves they've got, you know, Basham, Ampadu, I know very well from Wales, who's an excellent, real talent, and John Egan, very experienced as well. So they've got 3 really strong, really good centre halves on the pitch. So, it's not like it's a weak team, and it's mistakes that players of this quality shouldn't be making.
Yeah, so they've effectively got 7 players, haven't they, fighting for those 3 places when you consider the veteran Jagielka on the bench as well. He was man of the match, certainly in the fans' poll for that victory at Manchester United. But the former Everton man, second spell, of course, at Sheffield, 38. He's asking a bit much to play back-to-back games within 4 days, both in Manchester, against the cauldron of talent that City and United currently possess. 20 gone. City leading Sheffield 1-0. And it's Man City on the attack, looking to add to that Gabriel Jesus goal. Bernardo Silva to Fernandinho. Sumptuous ball over the top, looking for Jesus, who tried to bring the ball down to pull the trigger. And Chris Basham comes across and makes an important interception at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, really good movement from Jesus. He's, since the goal, he's looking very bright. It's a good ball over, and it looked a great touch from him on the stretch to bring it down. It looked like it was a corner to Man City, but not been given. It's I think it's given a goal kick.
So has it come back off Fernandinho then?
Well, I'm not.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think so, because he certainly he appealed for it. He didn't look very happy, Jesus, with the decision, but it was good movement from him. Like I say, a brilliant first touch as well to pluck it out of the air. But no, it's been a goal kick to...
You're right, there was a little quick conversation about what it was, and the decision was, in the end, a goal kick. What can Sheffield United do, having maybe ridden their luck? A poor ball from Lundstrom there that was easily intercepted by Bernardo Silva. It was right to highlight the form that he's been in as he scurries forward and finds Kyle Walker. Walker tries to thread it through on the overlap back to Bernardo Silva. And Jayden Bogle this time with a good interception. He finds Rhian Brewster, the youngster signed for big money from Liverpool, who has not scored the goals that were expected, but at least is getting a bit more time back in the team now. Bogle, who started the move, right-footed but playing at left wing back, does well, plays a nice little 1-2 with Fleck with his weaker left foot. He beats Diaz. Bogle infield to Lundstrom once more. And Lundstrom, I'm afraid, has given it away. He had 3 players around him, including Foden, who did well. Foden's been fouled. Referee was well placed and he plays advantage. Another player in Jesus has been fouled. It's like the walking wounded out there. 2 are down, and again the referee, David Coote, plays advantage. Foden's picked himself back up. Jesus has picked himself back up. And we're back to all 11 City players back on their feet. Double advantage has kind of petered out now, Kit.
Yeah, it has. I think it was
weird passage of play.
Yeah, it was. Good refereeing, I think, though, from David Coote. He's trying to let the game flow. 2 clear-cut and definite fouls from Sheffield United. It'd be interesting to see when this passage of play does end, if there's going to be a card for anyone. I think
the Foden one was possibly the one if there was going to be.
One, definitely, yeah. Although saying that, the Jesus one was he was clearly taken out sort of off the ball to try and slow the attack down.
So one was more cynical and one was more rash.
Yes,
maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree fully. But we're still in the same passage of play because Man City keep the ball so well. So
I reckon the ref will have forgotten.
He would have forgotten. Yeah, I think so.
Unless, of course, it ends in a goal as well. Here's Gundogan, fed by Foden, tries to play the ball into Bernardo Silva just behind him, and it's Fleck who reacts first and smacks the ball to safety. On that occasion, Sheffield United happy to just bang the ball anywhere, and the referee hadn't forgotten. And I think he's going to bring a yellow card out in a second. He's just about to brandish it, but he doesn't do so because City take the throw quickly.
No, I think he did it.
Oh, did he? He was very quick.
Did it very, very quickly. He'd still let the game flow. So I think it was...
Which one?
It was Norwood. I think it was Ollie Norwood who got the booking.
So that was for the Foden foul,
that
wasn't it?
That was for the first one, as you said, which was the more rash of the 2.
OK, so Oliver Norwood goes into the book rapidly after a long wait. 23 gone, so we've played just over the first half of the first 45 minutes here on Premier League Live. City leading 1-0 as Foden tries to get onto a through ball from Gundogan once more. Those two, after a quietish start to this game, kind of getting back to the lofty standards we've seen in recent weeks. They've developed a nice understanding, haven't they, among others as well.
That's right. Well, just everything seems to be working out at the moment for Man City, and things that weren't happening before seem to be happening again now, and the little partnerships in key areas, certainly the 2 centre halves, without doubt, then the full-backs and wide players. The wide players also, I was listening to Guardiola's one of his other interviews, and he said about he's tinkered with a few things tactically and got the wide players to give them more width. And it's great. So Foden, for example, will start and will hug the touchline but then come in. But rather than being in too soon and shutting up the space, he's timing his movements much better now, but giving given himself that space to come into by starting a bit wider.
Yeah, we're seeing plenty.
Works.
Absolutely, we're seeing plenty of Phil Foden playing down the left, which has become his kind of customary position since he's broken more regularly into the first team. On the right in this game, we've seen a mixture of sometimes Bernardo Silva pushing forward and sometimes Ferran Torres kind of peeling over there. The right's been a bit of a mismatch between the two, whereas the left is largely Foden, supported by Zinchenko. Foden now comes infield, the youngster, left-footed, wearing 47. Finds Kyle Walker, back to Bernardo Silva, who's hugging that right touchline at the moment. Left-footed delivery is beautiful. Great chance for a second goal, and Gabriel Jesus should definitely have done better with the header back across. Two players, including Gundogan, Torres was the other, were waiting for the nod back. Jesus, unmarked, I think should have done much better there.
Yeah, I think he was stretching his neck a little bit. It was a fairly difficult. He tried to do the right thing, but couldn't quite execute it.
And here comes City again. Sorry to interrupt for a moment. Jesus tries to chest it down this time on the edge of the box for Andre Zinchenko. And this time, Sheffield United react a little bit quicker. And the right wing back, George Baldock, is happy to just hack the ball downfield and give Sheffield a little bit of a breather. They win that loose ball. Now they can maybe counter-attack. And Oliver Burke, who we've barely mentioned in the game so far, the man who scored the winning goal, of course, at Man United in the week, kind of waited for the ball to come to him, and that enabled Bernardo Silva to slide in and make the challenge.
Yeah, I think what's quite important for Man City, and they just did it very well, that was a really good example there, is when it does break down and Sheffield United can attack on the counter, that the midfield get back in quickly, that Bernardo Silva and Gundogan to help Fernandinho, because sometimes he can get a little bit isolated and they need to get in quickly, and on that occasion it was Bernardo Silva who slid in and made a tackle, so that side of the game is very important as well.
Zinchenko poking another through ball through, looking for Ilkay Gundogan. I've got a little Gundogan stats for you in a few minutes, which will be a good test for you, Kit. I'll be impressed if you can get it. We shall see.
Is it a goal scoring stat?
It is. It is indeed. Anyway, here's Ollie Burke, who knows all about goal scoring after that unforgettable winner at Old Trafford in the week. Clever through ball as far as Brewster to Lundstrom on the right edge of the box. Foden is back doing some good defensive work. He nearly picks the pocket of Baldock, who just about gets there, to Ollie Norwood, the former Brighton and Fulham man. Oliver Norwood has got Gundogan breathing down his neck, so he goes in field, and great work from City without the ball. They've kept their shape, they've kept hassling and harrying, and they've just pushed Sheffield United back, and eventually they force the offside. Pep will be very happy with that, won't he? They didn't do anything rash, anything too clever, but they just stuck to their structure and eventually calmly won the ball back.
Well, they did what they did. They kept their shape very well, and then when it went back as well, they managed to squeeze up, so then when the long ball was played forward from Sheffield United, there was an offside, so he'll be really pleased with that, working together as a unit, nice and solid and resolute, and making it difficult for Sheffield United to create anything. So I say that's the side of the game with Manchester City this season that's impressed me the most. They're still, I mean, they were actually struggling to score goals a little bit at the start of the season at one stage, but now they've got that back. But throughout the course of the season, defensively, they've looked so much better.
Big screen, 6 minutes after we saw it, have finally realised that Oliver Norwood is on a yellow card, so well done for being well ahead of that one, Kit. Excellent, as we brought to our listeners around the world at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. A 3-0 victory for Manchester City, that's the prediction of Chris Tony, who's tweeted in from Rivers in Nigeria, listening on Niger 92.7 FM. Chris, good to hear from you, my friend. Ball has trickled out of play, I think, for another City throw. Ollie Burke is contesting it, but Kyle Walker is also not too happy. Nice little bit of contesting of the ball there, bit of needle. And in the end, it's going to be a Sheffield United throw, which Ethan Ampadu will take, the young Welshman, the centre-half who is on loan from Chelsea. Chelsea with plenty of options at the back, because Fikayo Tomori, I noticed, has gone on loan to AC Milan, and he's actually starting today. It's not bad, is it?
No, I think you'd take that, wouldn't he, Tomori?
Fifth choice at Chelsea to starting at AC Milan within the space of 2 days. Ollie Burke has brought his man down. He hasn't seen much of the ball at his feet. One nice pass, but Burke is getting himself involved in whichever way he can. Talented young Scot, broke through at Nottingham Forest, ended up at RB Leipzig for a while, then at West Brom, where he and Ollie Robinson, of course, had that swap deal in the summer. Burke has been a slightly frustrating peripheral figure at times, but if nothing else, scoring that winner at Old Trafford, first time Sheffield won there since the inception of the Premier League in 1992. You can never take that one away from him, can you?
No, absolutely. So again, that will give him a bit of confidence going into today. He's not, as you said, Russ, he's not seen a lot of the ball yet.
And that was off the bench, we should say. He'd only been on 4 minutes when he scored.
But probably didn't expect to see a lot of the ball today either at this stage. But if he can pop up with another vital goal, I'm sure he'll be very pleased.
An interesting call that David McGoldrick doesn't start this one. He's scored 5 of Sheffield United's 12 Premier League goals this season. Club captain Billy Sharp, who also started that game and also scored the winner, don't forget, from the penalty spot in Sheffield's other big win a couple of weeks ago against Newcastle. He's also on the bench as well. So Wilder certainly using his squad as best as he can. Half an hour exactly played here on Premier League Live. It stays Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield with a better spell of late. Did Baldock shove Zinchenko in the back there? The ball trickles out of play regardless for a throw. I think he probably did. Little bit.
Yeah, I think Zinchenko played for it as well, but there was definitely a bit of contact, slight pushing the back. And in the end, I think he just, sort of clipped his heels and a slight nudge in the back, so it's fair play.
Brent Parker has tweeted in, as he always does, a great day in Montana, enjoying as ever the game day this Saturday and the best commentary team every time. Thanks for that, Brent. A City loss to go along with my Gunners shaking the top 4 by winning later against Man United is my prediction. Cheers, boys. So, Brent, I wouldn't say hoping against hope because you never know, but as a big Arsenal fan, he's dreaming of a Man U and Man City defeat today. And as ever, he sent us a picture from his cafe as he's preparing the food for everybody later. And it is another of his sumptuous burgers. And it's got melted cheese, chili con carne, it's got jalapenos, my favourite, it's got bacon, nice. It's got it all on. It's got a cheeky egg at the bottom as well. Fries left, right and centre. Brent, that burger looks like one of your best, my friend.
That is a full Monty, that one, Russ.
I can't wait to take his offer up whenever we are back on the road and whenever, road trips are back on. I've got a rolling invite to go and eat for free at that restaurant. And I'm going to absolutely make the most of it. Fantastic. One day. Never been to Montana. Would love to. Anyway, 32 gone here. It's Man City 1, Sheffield United 0. Laporte, the Frenchman, left-footed, and then to his weaker right with a nice little delayed pass to Phil Foden. Foden back in field to Laporte, almost Sheffield star with a centre half in an attacking position. Ball is jinked in, looking for Gabriel Jesus, and Aaron Ramsdale read that one well and got there just ahead of his man. Foden, though, probing and pulling the strings.
Yeah, not a lot of room. It was a very difficult ball to play, but Foden has got the quality to execute that pass. But Ramsdale was very quick off his line, to be fair to him. Really on his toes on the front foot and came together quite comfortably in the end. But yeah, City, they've not certainly been at their very, very best, I'd say, but they're passing it nicely and moving Sheffield United around. They're trying to get back Sheffield United into obviously a solid defensive shape as quickly as they can, and sort of 5 across the back when they're defending their penalty box. Trying to not leave any gaps for City, but they're so bright with their movement, City. They're trying to probe and look for little spaces all the time.
32 gone here. City 1, Sheffield United 0. Elsewhere still, Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. Palace, of course, one of Kit's old teams, as are Fulham, who still lead by a goal to 0 at West Brom in that key game near the foot of the table, courtesy a few minutes ago of Bobby Cordova-Reid. Earlier, Everton 0, Newcastle 2. Huge win for the Toon with a brace from Callum Wilson, and what a pair of good goals they were. And after us, Arsenal Man United, the huge game at 5:30 UK. Less than 2 hours to go till Tom Rennie and Paul Parker take over from us. And at 8 tonight, it's also Southampton against Aston Villa with Paul Mortimer and Alex Crook. And Laporte again, just inside his own half. Lovely pass on the turn, on the swivel to Zinchenko, who's got a bit of space. The Ukrainian, ball over the top, was a little bit optimistic as he tried to find Ferran Torres. And Jayden Bogle made the interception. He also turns nicely. Finds Oliver Norwood, back heel from Lundstrom to Baldock, now to Basham. Nice silky football this, just a shame it's in the wrong part of the field for Sheffield to maybe try and hurt City. As we say, that Fleck delays on the ball and tries to do too much. He's dispossessed by Fernandinho. The ball goes loose and Fleck is a lucky man because it eventually lands back at his feet. And by hook or by crook, the Sheffield United attack continues. Here is Baldock once more, right-footed. His delivery hits the backside of Gundogan, but ricochets back to Lundstrom. Somehow Sheffield United is still going. Baldock again with a slightly looking reckless challenge, but again the move moves on. It's not been particularly pretty, but Sheffield United have worked their way to the edge of the Manchester City box, just to the left of the D. Oliver Norwood finding Ryan Brewster with a shot on target, but it was straight at Ederson, he made a comfortable save. That was not pretty, but at least it ended with a shot on goal.
Well, it did, and that's their first effort of any description, I think, whatsoever in the game so far. So a bit better from Sheffield United. They kept a bit of possession, probing. It all came, though, as you mentioned, from a bit of a lucky escape, really. Flack got caught on the ball sort of halfway in his own half, and City then, when Sheffield United get back into their shape, 5 across and then a 4 or a 3 in front of them, they're hard to break down. But if suddenly one of those midfielders give it away, as Flack did, then City are breaking at the heart, and there's gaps and spaces there for them to exploit. So they got a little bit lucky riding their luck. But then on the back flip side of that, they had their best attack, and finally got a shot from Brewster, which didn't trouble Edison, but at least it was a shot on target.
Foden to Zinchenko to Laporte, and now to the other centre-half, Ruben Diaz, who's not with his mate John Stones for once today, who's on the bench. Just for 2 attempts from City so far in the game, very unlike them, but both have been on target, and one has resulted in a goal, as we well know from Gabriel Jesus much earlier on, set up by the tireless work of Ferran Torres. And that one effort a few moments ago was not a particularly dangerous one, but at least it was something from Ryan Brewster. Here comes City again through Ferran Torres once more. Tries to whip in a dangerous ball for Jesus, but that one is too close to Aaron Ramsdale. And Ramsdale, of course, re-bought, having been initially signed on loan from Bournemouth. He's done pretty well, I think. He's in a struggling team, but Ramsdale, again, as we saw when he was at a struggling team at Bournemouth, most of the losses they're rarely his fault, are they? I think he's quite a good young keeper.
Yeah, no, he's a solid keeper who's got a lot of potential, and I'm sure a very solid, good career in front of him. So
one day perhaps he'll play for a team that isn't near the foot. That would be the next test, wouldn't it?
Well, that I'm sure. But he might get a bit bored there, though, playing for a top team. Who knows? Maybe he enjoys it.
Likes the thrill of the relegation battle, maybe. Dayu Asani says, great commentary, guys, from Abuja in Nigeria. I'm still hoping that Sheffield United can create an upset by winning. You never know. They're still very much in this one, Dayo. Son of Man, listening from Lagos in Nigeria through 91.3 Lagos FM. Thanks for your amazing commentary. It's made my work day a lot more fun. Well, Son of Man, we're delighted to hear that. And Bobby Robson, not the late great Sir Bobby, but one of our listeners, says, hi guys, Man City have suddenly picked up to overtake Man U. What about City then losing their form in coming matches? I'm not sure they will, Kit. I think they, as you've alluded to, happened upon, something that really is working and is quite special.
Well, like I say, certainly working for them at the moment, and defensively look very strong, and they're scoring enough goals to win games. So all's looking good at the moment. But also the way the world is at the moment, the way football is, you wouldn't rule anything out. And I'm sure, I am convinced there's going to be plenty more twists and turns. As another foul throw. Russ, can you believe? Seen 2 in a game. You never see
Unbelievable.
Them.
Well, this one's Alexander Zinchenko,
yeah,
and he's saying that he did get the ball properly wrapped around the back of his head. He's really unhappy, the Ukrainian. Well, do you reckon that barrage of abuse is in English or in Ukrainian? We can't quite hear. He'd be wise to do it in Ukrainian, wouldn't he?
I mean, coming from a fullback, who obviously they take a lot of throw-ins, you should never do it. Now, the one before...
Pep's just sitting looking bemused, isn't he, talking himself in the dugout.
I'm not saying I went years and years without ever seeing a foul throw-in, and suddenly they're becoming very fashionable now. Everyone's trying them.
Here is Bernardo Silva. Despite the foul throw, City do win the ball back pretty quickly. Options were limited for once in front of him. So he went to Kyle Walker, to Diaz, and now to Laporte, who plays a 1-2 with Zinchenko, who stopped berating the officials and has given up his lost cause, I think. Jesus, the goal scorer, has been forced to come all the way back to nearly halfway to get more of the ball, but it's a nice little interception from the young Brazilian. Ferran Torres, the young Spaniard, another big money signing, of course, over the course of recent months, as Kyle Walker pokes in a probing delivery, and Phil Foden tried to make the most of a little bit of defensive uncertainty. The ball was headed by Lundstram over Foden's head and just about into the gloves of Aaron Ramsdale, who has gleefully got hold of that one, but tiny bit shaky again.
Well, it was. I mean, we saw the header back a little bit earlier from Ollie Norwood that got intercepted by Silva, and Lundstram did it again, but he got a much more solid contact on it and got it back to his keeper, but slightly risky.
Ricochet here. Can Oliver Burke get a shot in? An all-important challenge from Ruben Diaz, who had to slide in and time that one perfectly. It ricocheted off the barrel chest, and it's a very fierce and big chest of Ollie Burke, isn't it? It hit that fell back to him, and the defender had to make a very important and well-timed challenge, Kit.
Well, he did. I mean, because he had a bit of momentum going there, Burke, as well, and he was through on goal, and Diaz had to, as you say, to time his interception impeccably to sort of volley the ball away. So, really good defending from Ruben Diaz there to stop her.
All talking of bad defending at the other end, though. Bogle's out of position. Ferran Torres trying to find Jesus for a carbon copy of the first goal. Bogle awfully exposed with the ball over the top, and just about the backtracking Sheffield United defenders make the interception. And Torres, who again did brilliantly from another tricky cause down this near stand side, nearly fed Jesus for the second. We'll get Kit's thoughts on that in a second, because Man City are back on the attack once more through Fernandinho. Now to Jesus, who just slows things down and goes back to Walker. What a chance for a second.
Well, it was a really good ball initially, and Bogle just got caught a little bit square on, couldn't quite adjust to the flight of the ball over his head. Torres was then in wide of the goal and tried to cut the ball back, but there was like a Sheffield United defender standing there to intercept it. But if he could have picked his pass, it could have been a simple tap-in, but really good opportunity for City.
Yeah, it would have been so similar to the first in many ways as well. Bogle, who's done largely well since coming back into the team, struggled on that particular occasion. Here is Ruben Diaz, the man who made that big interception at the other end, the young Portuguese, as Kit said, so impressive since being signed and coming into the team in the summer. To another of the Portuguese contingent in Bernardo Silva, who's running at Bogle. Is his confidence a bit rocked from a moment ago or not? We shall see. He stands his ground there. So Silva is forced to go back to Kyle Walker, who's got Torres as an option, but he goes himself, puts in the cross. It takes a deflection. Oh, and that could have gone anywhere. It ricocheted up into the great Manchester skies. And Aaron Ramsdale, safety first under pressure, has fisted it behind over his own bar for a corner.
Well, he's one playing against his old club. Obviously Cole Walker, and
of course, I forgot to mention that in this one.
And
yeah.
also,
I think it might have gone out of play. That's what they're looking at. Yeah. It may have drifted out and back in, but it took a deflection anyway, didn't it? So it'd still be a corner.
That's right. Yeah, it definitely went out of play, and as you say, definitely a corner now for Man City, which they'll be looking to exploit. But yeah, I was reading Cole Walker, obviously really looking forward. Got a lot he owes Sheffield United. He's saying that himself, and
it's his boyhood club, isn't it?
Absolutely,
as well?
from a kid, but also really fancies his chances of scoring against them today.
42 gone, and weirdly, very un-City-like. This is the first corner of the game. Gundogan takes it. Up there were a couple of players, including Laporte. I think it was Laporte who got the header in. Foden nearly picked up the loose ball on the left edge of the 6-yard area, couldn't quite control it and turn, and Sheffield United get it downfield looking for Oliver Burke, who loses out to the aforementioned Kyle Walker. Nice ball, and both City centre halves weren't too far away from diverting that Gundogan delivery in, were they?
No, it's a really, really good corner. I mean, quite often with Man City, I like them playing short, because I never really feel they're going to score, but obviously got two, strong centre halves in the air attacking it. And Laporte, I think it was the closest, and he came away afterwards with his head in his hands. I think he felt it was a really good chance for him to score there.
Now, acres of space all of a sudden is Bernardo Silva. Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United boss, is screaming to his players to get back. They are now doing so. Here's Ferran Torres, and Bogle this time, to his credit, with a stout, good interception. Ball trickles out near the right corner flag for a throw to Manchester City. Mohamed Abdul Rahim has tweeted in from Tamale saying he thinks 2-0 will be the final score. He says City at times in poorer goal scoring form this season compared to previous, but they continue to get the job done, which Mohamed is absolutely true. I agree. And Divine saying I see a draw coming, or maybe a narrow City win with Jesus getting a brace. Mark, we will wait and see. And John Fleck is getting stuck in for Sheffield United for the umpteenth time already, this time on Jesus, Kit.
That's right, he's going to have to be a little bit careful, Fleck. Just the accumulation of the number of fouls that he's made will result in a booking soon if he's not careful. So it needs to, like I say, this is his way of playing. He's a very aggressive, honest, wholehearted midfield player, and he will make tackles, but he's running a bit of a tightrope at the moment.
Samuel Chiwuku reckons that City won't win and United will go back top as Gundogan bends in the delivery. It was a nice looking free kick again. Once more Ruben Diaz was up there. Fernandinho is another potential target as well. And now Sheffield United, having looked a little bit uncertain defensively from set pieces and long balls over the top earlier in the half, a Kit for me growing a little bit in their stability and their confidence and their reading of the game at the back.
Well, I think possibly, but they still do look a little bit vulnerable. I mean, even that last one there, suddenly had the two big centre halves from Man City and Fernandinho flying in, and they were very close to at least one of those three making a solid connection.
So hard though, isn't it? There are so many options for City when they come charging at you, whether it's from a dead ball or open play. They've got so many different ways they can skin the proverbial cat, if you know what I mean.
Well, it is, and let's say they can create out of almost nothing. So, but then Chris Wilder will be really disappointed if his team concede the way they did through individual poor defensive mistakes and decisions, or from a set piece, which they'll feel that they should be able to defend. So, if City work a bit of magic and some intricate passing and breaking lines and some great movement and runs, I think Chris will hold his hand up, but what he won't be happy with is the way they did concede the goal and them looking so vulnerable from set pieces as well.
And City with another lengthy spell with the ball. Bernardo Silva here on the right edge of the penalty area finds Fernandinho to Ilkay Gundogan, who's got three salmon pink shirted Sheffield United players around him. Laporte from distance lets rip. Fine block. Not entirely sure who it was. I think it was Oliver Norwood who properly put his body on the line there. It sent the diminutive midfielder cannoning backwards. He picks himself up and gets straight on with it, to his credit. Laporte can hit them, and boy did he really unleash a bit of venom there after months of injury frustration. That one was blocked, but far earlier in the half as the half-time whistle blows. What wasn't blocked was the finish from Gabriel Jesus, who was left an acre of time and space to fumble, miss kick and eventually smack the ball home for a much-needed goal after good work from Ferran Torres down the near touchline. City with a couple of decent opportunities to extend their lead. Sheffield giving largely impressively, I think, in the game so far. They're still in it, but at the break, Man City are 45 minutes away from going 4 points clear atop the Premier League table and making it 12 wins in a row. Half-time, City 1, Sheffield United 0 on Premier League Live.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Welcome back to Cadbury's Find a Legend, Win a Legend.
What a competition, Ian, and they've just got to pick up a Cadbury pack for the chance to win.
They could score Petr Cech's incredible VIP weekend at Chelsea, or there's Robbie Fowler's luxury Liverpool experience.
Or a VIP match day with me, Gary Neville. Results.
Find a Legend shirt inside your Cadbury pack to win big. Plus thousands more prizes at legends.cadburyfc.com. T's and C's apply.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track? And who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Watch the Premier League live with the Now TV, Sky Sports or Sports Extra Pass.
What a fantastic goal.
Where you can stream all the action from Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports, all without a contract.
Oh, what a finish that is.
Only pay for the games that matter to you with a day or month pass. It's your sport on your terms with Now TV.
Ronaldo and Messi, a rivalry for our times. But like everyone striving to be best in their field, they need each other. They drive each other on. Like me and Mick, the other voiceover guy. Right, Mick?
Toothpaste. It's paste for your teeth.
He's so annoying. Well, something that is unrivaled is Paddy Power's offer of a free bet if one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down.
Paddy Power.
Stay in your lane, Mick. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes enhanced match odds. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
123inc.ie have your office needs covered. So whether you're an accountant, butcher, carpenter, dentist, electrician, florist, graphic designer, hairdresser, journalist, lecturer, musician, optician, retailer, teacher, solicitor, web designer, or yoga instructor, we've got what you need. And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
We're all working more from home these days, and at Harvey Norman, we have the latest range of HP home office technology to ensure you're working smarter with the best products. From HP laptops and desktops with powerful Intel Core processing to HP's massive range of multifunction smart printers. We've also monitors of all sizes and HP home office essentials, including ink, keyboards, paper, and so much more. See harveynorman.ie/HP for our full range of HP home office technology, available today for home delivery or click and collect.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Sheffield United from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Fulham, Crystal Palace, Manchester City and Wales defender Kit Symons. And this is Premier League Live. By City standards, this one's not been full of shots and opportunities and drama, but they lead Sheffield 1-0. Here's the key moment, how it played out here on Premier League Live. Now, Ferran Torres has hunted down what appeared to be a dead cause here and has won the ball on the dead ball line, and he's got past two players. A chance for Jesus, who scores! That was all about Ferran Torres, who did brilliantly to keep the ball in play. He wove his way past three players. Ramsdale nearly made the block prone on the floor, but Gabriel Jesus gets a much needed goal.
Brilliant from Torres, and in the end a good finish. From Jesus, but poor defending from Sheffield United. They'll be very, very disappointed with that.
Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0. And that, Kit, is where we stand so far. What are your thoughts for the second 45 tactically from the bosses, bench-wise, and how this one might eventually play out?
Yeah, well, it wasn't sparkling from City at all, and as we said in commentary, the actual goal was really poor defending from Sheffield United, which Chris will be really upset about. First of all, the two players on Torres, and who's actually fallen over. He's on his backside in the box, and manages to get up, and they allow him to wriggle free, put the cross in, and Basham is marking Jesus and tries to read the cut back and just leaves Jesus in the middle of the goal and goes out. And as we said, Jesus then gets the ball stuck under his feet, so if Basham had stayed with him, he would have been able to clear it quite comfortably, I think. But he tried to read the cutback and left his man completely free. And after a couple of attempts, Jesus was able to stab it in. So, disappointing goal, but City didn't create too much else of that. They were probing and looking, but Sheffield United defended quite well. So, I think Chris will be saying pretty much more of the same. Keep that resolute defensive shape. And as we said about earlier, they have got people on the bench, McBurney, Billy Sharp, Mousset, McGoldrick, who can come on and score a goal. So they'll be quite happy, I think, Sheffield United, all the time it stays at 1-0, that they can then, make a few substitutions and get something out of the game.
Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. Mark J. Quaserio is listening and saying he's enjoying the broadcast, gentleman from a chilly Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and he sent a lovely picture of the New England coastline there. Thank you very much indeed for that, Mark. Love New England. Spent many a time up that coast in Maine in my younger years. Big fan of that part of the world, so thank you for that. And Carol, big Manchester City fan, regular tweeter, says, so great to have you guys commentating on this match. I've just put a cranberry swirl in the oven, and I'm hoping to enjoy it with a cuppa during the second half with my Manchester City ahead. Well, Carol, your beloved Man City are ahead, and do you know what, for a half-time snack as well as Brent's burger, I'd love to finish it with Carol's little swirl as well. It looks very nice indeed. Spot on.
I don't think I've ever had a cranberry swirl.
Carol, good work. Always cooks something nice, she does. Excellent work. Anyway, that was the second game of the day that we're covering. Of course, elsewhere, goalless Palace, Wolves and Fulham a goal up at West Brom. Earlier in the day, though, Everton 0, Newcastle 2 was the final score. Bit of a turn-up for the books at Goodison Park. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk was alongside the one and only John Anderson for us.
United 2. On the first day of November, Callum Wilson scored twice to give Newcastle victory over Everton, which lifted them up to 11th place. A lot's changed since then, but on the last day of January, he did it again to end the Magpies' 5-match losing run, finish a 7-match string of defeats on the road, and hugely boost their hopes of avoiding the relegation scrap. They were helped by a lifeless Everton display in which none of their star performers turned up, and Wilson punished them. He headed in brilliantly from John Joe Shelby's corner on 73 minutes, ending Newcastle's run of more than 11 hours without a Premier League away goal. He then struck the post after rounding Jordan Pickford, but in the next counter-attack, the England keeper was clinically beaten by Wilson to take the tally for him to 10, 4 of which have now come against Everton, who missed the chance to improve on 7th place as the Magpies gained their first points, but they hope not their last, of 2021. They thoroughly deserved it. Everton 0, Newcastle United 2.
Ando, thank you. Let's hear a little bit from Steve Bruce, the, beleaguered Toon boss. What a 3 points for him. Steve Bruce relieved to get the victory after what were an awful few weeks, he says.
Well, we've had a pretty dismal few weeks. Awful Christmas and a tough beginning to the new year with one thing and another. So our performance, firstly, and the way we went about it, secondly, was really pleasing. I thought we were deservedly winners, and it can only give us a little bit of confidence going forward.
So, Kit, your thoughts on both of those teams from there? Everton a setback and Newcastle could be a big step forward, or will it be?
Well, it's certainly a great result for them, and as you said, Brucey's been somewhat beleaguered, and it was a huge 3 points for them. What Everton won't want, their home form now is suddenly looking not brilliant, and they won't want that to become a fixture either. So it's a sort of pivotal time, I think, in the season for both of these sides now. Newcastle pick up a couple wins now, could get themselves out of the mire that they've been in, but Everton, who got off to a really good start, will want to try and keep that going, but things could easily sort of drift away if they're not careful. So I think, let's say, it's a big time in the season for both these teams.
Let's quickly hear from the other side of our big 5:30 commentary game. Arsenal-Manchester United. United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer dismissing that United don't play well if Bruno Fernandes isn't on song.
Bruno has come in and helped the team, no doubt about that. He's come in at the time where we needed his type of player, and Bruno came into a team that makes his attributes and skills come to fruition. So he's come to a team that suits him, and he suits the team. So that goes hand in hand. If the players don't run, Bruno can't play these passes. If Bruno don't play his passes, the players can't run. So he's part of a chain here, and I'm sure that Bruno will say he also appreciates his teammates and that they help him through games.
I'll put that to Kit Simons during the second half of our commentary. Man City, Sheffield United, second 45, up next on Premier League Live.
Stream Leicester v Leeds and West Ham v Liverpool this Sunday, live with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass.
The team that's been in electrifying form.
With Now TV, you can stream a whole month of live Premier League action or only pay for the games that matter to you with the day or month pass. Perfect. It's your sport on your terms with Now TV.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home, to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Ská Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
As we know, keeping active and looking after your well-being is challenging right now. At Harvey Norman, we have the latest range of connected fitness and health products to help you understand more about your health, everyday stress, sleep patterns, and more. Like the TicWatch GTX smartwatch, packed with key features, including a unique bezel design, fitness tracking, sleep monitoring, and a long battery life. Available now for only €99. See harveynorman.ie for our full range of connected fitness and health products. Available for home delivery or click and collect.
Welcome back to Cadbury's Find a Legend, Win a Legend.
What a competition, Ian. And they've just got to pick up a Cadbury pack for the chance to win.
They could score Petr Cech's incredible VIP weekend at Chelsea, or there's Robbie Fowler's luxury Liverpool experience.
Or a VIP match day with me, Gary Neville. Results.
Find a Legend shirt inside your Cadbury pack to win big. Plus thousands more prizes at legends.cadburyfc.com. T's and C's apply.
There's certain matchday sounds we are all missing. But there are others we don't have to. Is Carlsberg Pilsner the best beer to enjoy while watching the match at home? Probably. Carlsberg Pilsner, probably the best beer in the world. Enjoy Carlsberg sensibly. Visit drinkaware.ie.
Grant has been providing reliable, efficient and affordable home heating technology for over 40 years. From the award-winning Grant Vortex condensing oil boiler to the highly efficient Arona heat pump, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.eu.
Ronaldo and Messi, a rivalry for our times. But like everyone striving to be best in their field, they need each other. They drive each other on. Like me and Mick, the other voiceover guy. Right, Mick?
Toothpaste. It's paste for your teeth.
He's so annoying. Well, something that is unrivaled is Paddy Power's offer of a free bet if one leg of your 4+ Fold ACCA lets you down.
Paddy Power.
Stay in your lane, Mick. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes enhanced match odds. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester City against Sheffield United from the Etihad Stadium. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the former Fulham, Crystal Palace and Manchester City defender Kit Simons. And this is Premier League Live. Second half about to get underway. City coming out of the tunnel as we speak. And Kit, Sheffield United, as Chris Wilder loves to do, already going through an extremely rigorous pre-second half warm-up by the touchline. What do you make of that?
That's right, yeah, no, it's something quite a few teams do these days. Some teams do a bit of pre-activation stuff in the change room before they come out. Other teams like Sheffield United, and Chris, they like to do it actually on the pitch. But the aim of it is to make sure, obviously, the team start sharp and are on the front foot right from that first whistle, start the second half. So they've done all right, Sheffield United. So it'll be, let's say, the goal was sloppy from them, but other than that, they've limited Man City to very few chances and opportunities. So overall, they've done quite well, still very much in the game.
Plenty more from Kit Simons. The second half just upon us. The brilliant Twitter handle Poseidon Maximus, love that one, has tweeted in from Port Harcourt in Nigeria, saying that by the end of this game, City will have torn Sheffield United apart. And Princewell Victor enjoying our live commentary from Idaban in Nigeria. He says, TalkSport to the world. What a start from City. A shame they couldn't build on it. Victor, thank you very much indeed. Second half is underway. No changes as far as we can muster from the two teams. City now kicking from right to left in the second half in their sky blue tops and shorts with white shorts. And then Sheffield United salmon pink tops and socks with black shorts with a little bit of pink trim. And it's Alexander Zinchenko who believes that he has won a throw for City. Indeed, he gets it about halfway inside the Sheffield United half, 40 seconds in. City leading 1-0. Here on Premier League Live, as the young Ukrainian surveys his options. They're a bit limited until Gabriel Jesus comes scurrying toward him and plays the ball back to Zinchenko. Infield to the edge of the centre circle. Poor pass though from Ruben Diaz that's cut out by Jayden Bogle. Bogle though gets the ball stuck between his feet. Bernardo Silva briefly intercepts before John Fleck, tough in the tackle again, wins it back. Then he's dispossessed by Bernardo Silva. Here's Silva with an amazing little run, trying to find Gundogan. Foden was up there as well. Good block from Oliver Norwood. And the ball's already behind for the first City corner of the second half, Kit.
That's quite a bizarre passage of play, Russ. They're both teams giving the ball away.
We had that in the first half at one point as well, didn't we?
We did, exactly. It's a very, very similar situation. Both teams giving the ball away, unforced errors, and then City break into the Sheffield United box, and Sheffield United has so many bodies around it, they almost got in each other's way, but they managed to get the ball away to safety in the end. But now a corner, which Gundogan put in very well, the corners in the first half. He's a right-footed outswinger.
Took City 44 minutes to win their first corner, just 1 minute before they win their first of the second half. Another good delivery from Ilkay Gundogan. Ruben Diaz was up there, but all he could do under pressure was head it about 2 or 3 yards wide of goal, and he beats the floor in frustration. I guess Lundstram and Egan just about did enough, Kit.
Yeah, it was good defending, but because he was just slightly past the near post, and Lundstram read the run actually and got really close to him, so Diaz wasn't able to get it across onto the target of the goal. But again, they did look very dangerous, and Gundogan put in some brilliant deliveries, and that was another good one. Not top draw, but a very good delivery, and Diaz getting the first touch. They have looked dangerous from these Man City today.
Ball chested down by Lundstram as Sheffield United tried to come on the attack for the first time in the second half. City getting it clear through Fernandinho. Egan's header downfield was a tad hopeful. Bernardo Silva, this time in a defensive capacity, was back to make the interception. Way back at the other end, young Ethan Ampadu, wearing 22, wins it for Sheffield up to halfway, where it's won by Gabriel Jesus, the goal scorer, who now trots his way forward. And Jesus looking a bit more hungry, a bit more mobile, and just generally a bit more on it today. Is that partly because he's got a goal?
I think so, yeah. It's incredible for strikers what actually scoring a goal does for their whole mentality and, again, body language and just how they approach the game. You know, I've obviously played for a long time and played alongside and against so many different forwards, and the one thing they've all got in common, they're just so hungry to score goals, and when they do, everything's suddenly good in the world. They're most selfish people on the planet of this earth, centre forwards.
Well summed up, Kit Simon, said as a true centre half, who I think you were telling me once played in midfield for half a game.
No, it wasn't half a game. It was about 5 minutes it lasted. Italy away. we went
was it Bobby Gould?
Bobby Gould, yeah. We went 1-0 down. I think Del Piero scored. Change, Kit, centre half. So I got 5 minutes central midfield for Wales.
There you go. I should say, though, former defender and central midfielder, technically, if I was going to be correct on your resume.
Absolutely.
Ted Rosenberg, by the way, listening in Dayton, Ohio, while delivering the mail. He says, I'm awaiting the Man United game. Later, down with City in the meantime. Well, Ted the Postie, I'm afraid City are winning, and that's not going to do much for your boys' title hopes at the moment, but we'll see how it all plays out with Tom Rennie and with Paul Parker from 5:30 UK in about an hour and 25 minutes time. It's still City in the meanwhile, leading Sheffield United 1-0. I'll run through the lineups again for you in a moment as Fernandinho, wearing 25, puts a delightful crossfield ball to Phil Foden, brings it down with his left boot. He's running at Baldock, twisting, turning, left edge of the box. Zinchenko with a great looking cross, header across goal, and nobody is there to poke it home. In the end, Baldock gets there ahead of Foden at the expense of a throw. Good play from City, just needed someone to take a chance and take a gamble.
Yeah, really, really good play. Great ball in from Zinchenko. Set back to him, whips it in first time to the far post. I think it's Torres, heads it back across goal. Decent header. And it was Jesus who just couldn't quite get a foot to it, but very dangerous from Man City.
Gundogan with a little 1-2 with Jesus, and the ball just wouldn't quite fall for him. And Baldock's had a busy few minutes at the back, and it was George Baldock who was there to make an important interception. And Lundstrom and Foden, I think, had inadvertently run into each other and clashed heads, and both kitted down and both look in some pain.
Yeah, I think there was a slight clash. I think both will be okay. I don't think it was anything too... it was more Jesus sort of jumped into the pair of them.
And pushed them into each other.
Pushed them into each other, yeah, and they just face on. So it'd be a sore one, but I don't think there'll be any cuts or anything, so I think they should both be fine. But a bit more urgency from Man City in this at the start of this second half and in a bit of their attacking play. But we're just seeing that chance again. Yeah, it was a really, really good ball across from Zinchenko.
And so Jesus was the closest, wasn't he? But still not quite where he needed to be.
Yeah, it was actually probably a little bit slow and more reactive rather than gambling on the header back from Torres and being proactive and gambling. He was a little bit reactive and threw himself at it, but couldn't quite get there. But certainly we're seeing Lundstrom now sitting on the floor. I think
he'll be okay.
No cuts, but
of the two, Lundstrom is now at least sitting up, but Phil Foden is still prone on the floor. He's moving around, so he's not out cold. But Phil Foden, for me, is the one who looks perhaps the more groggy. As we know, concussion subs are going to be allowed from, I think it's next week, ironically enough, isn't it, in the Premier League, which I think's a great move to have that other option where you don't almost feel tempted to keep a player on when maybe he's not all there and he's not all right.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Russ. I think, player safety is obviously paramount, and he still looks in a fair bit of discomfort, Phil Foden. And now if Lundstrom's holding his teeth, which he is, you're fearing that they've obviously been planted somewhere on Phil Foden's face. Which,
completely accidentally, we should
absolutely,
add.
Absolutely. And they just, like I say, it was actually Jesus who got involved, again, inadvertently, and sort of bashed into the pair of them and pushed them face to face. See Mahrez warming up there, but hopefully Foden's going to be okay.
Yep.
But like I say, he's still down and looks in a bit of power. He's sitting up now, so that's a good sign and looks to be okay.
Okay, it's going to take a little longer for this treatment. In the meanwhile, there's been a goal at the Hawthorns, that massive fight at the bottom between West Brom and Fulham. Which way has it gone for Barry Swain?
Sent into the penalty area, and there's an equaliser. It's been tucked home, and an equaliser for the home side has come courtesy of Kyle Bartley.
Kyle Bartley with the equaliser. That's put the cat among the pigeons at the bottom, Kit.
Yeah, it certainly has. That been obviously the last thing Fulham and their fans needed. It sounded like, I don't know, from a second phase, from a set piece or something maybe, and Bartley had stayed up and got the goal. So very disappointing from Fulham, but they'll need to kick on again now.
They most certainly will. Let's take the opportunity as play gets back underway with Lundstram and Foden seemingly okay. To run through those teams: Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Zinchenko, Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, Gundogan, Torres, Jesus the goal scorer, and Foden, with a bench for City of Stefan, Stones, Sterling, Rodri, Mendy, Mahrez, who we saw warming up then as a precaution, Cancelo, Garcia and Bernabé. Sheffield United, Ramsdale in goal, back three of Egan, Basham and Ampadu, Bogle and Baldock the wing-backs, Fleck, Norwood and Lundstram in midfield, Brewster and Burke up front, Fodringham, McBurney, Sharp, Mousset, Lowe, Jagielka, McGoldrick, Bryan and Gordon the replacements. And actually just on that, Sheffield actually naming a 9-man bench with COVID, injuries and whatever. They've been naming small benches of late. They only had 6 on the bench when they beat Man U, so to have 9 is actually something.
That's right, so I'm sure Chris will be very happy with a
full squad,
full complement of players to pick from. Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about how strong that Sheffield United bench is, though, for goals if they need a goal. Yeah. But I mean, the Man City one's not bad either. You know, when you got Sterling and Mahrez who can come off the bench, and I mean, John Stone's been in goal scoring form of late.
Yes,
Cancelo as well. So yeah, so it's not a bad bench for Man City either, is it? Let's get it right.
Zinchenko tried to pull the trigger from distance. It was blocked by Sheffield United. Rian Brewster under pressure holds the ball up well. Tries to find Lundstram, and Ilkay Gundogan read that beautifully.
Still want your stat, Russ, on Gundogan, by the way.
Okay, don't you worry, I'll find a suitable moment. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Do you want it now, very quickly?
Yeah,
if Ilkay Gundogan scores in this game, let's do it while he's still on the field, what would he be the first German to do in the Premier League? If Gundogan were to score today, what would he be the first German to do in the Premier League? Have a think.
Okay.
While play goes on. All right.
Okay.
So Klinsmann never did it, nor did Rosler, or Podolski, or Ozil, or Sane, or Ballack. None of the other great attacking or midfield Germans have ever done it. As we look for a second goal, ball from the right, Ramsdale with excellent goalkeeping denies Gabriel Jesus. He put his body on the line, but so did the young stopper. Nice ball in from the right. Ramsdale does very well to keep Jesus out.
Well, that was an absolutely fantastic ball in from Torres, and I said about the previous one that Jesus didn't really anticipate, was a bit on his heels. That time he gambled, and it was really brave goalkeeping from Ramsdale to come and collect it, but brilliant ball in and good movement as well.
City all of a sudden coming to life as they look for a second. Foden couldn't quite get to the ball over the top. It was captain Egan for Sheffield who came back and made an interception. Ball trickles out of play. Kit's spot on earlier that City do have a lot more intensity in this second half. And that's despite that lengthy pause in play as Foden and Lundstram received treatment for that inadvertent clash of heads. City surging forward again through Ruben Diaz. Back to the far side to Ferran Torres, who put in not just the ball that set up the goal and another good chance in the first half, but a sumptuous delivery there that nearly set up a second. Can he do it again? Here is Torres, who beats his man, puts in another good cross, and Chris Basham was there in between Gundogan and Jesus to hack the ball to safety. Decent defending in the end from the former Blackpool man, and it was needed.
Yeah, it was. He's looking very bright, Torres, and looking a real threat. You know, he's got a couple of near assists already in the sort of first 10 minutes of this second half. I mean, he obviously set the goal up for City in the first half, but other than that was reasonably quiet overall, I suppose, but he's looked a real threat at the start of this second half.
Yep, completely agree. Goddy says he can see Man City winning this by 3 or more goals come the end. I wouldn't necessarily disagree on the balance of the last few minutes. Mark Uma, Man City not going to take any chances, and they will make sure and put this game to bed sooner rather than later. That's Mark listening in Abuja in Nigeria. Thank you very much indeed for that. Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. Elvis, meanwhile, saying, I'm loving the commentary. My only problem is Pep resting Cancelo because he's in my fantasy team. Elvis, I know the feeling. I've got John Stones in mind, so I've got exactly the same problem with a player I didn't expect to not play today. 57 gone. Man City 1, Sheffield United 0. City have at least upped it to 5 attempts during the game. Still only 2 on target though, and 1 goal. They did have 75% possession in the first half, but Sheffield United, even though they've had to live off scraps at times, it's been another accomplished display. And one thing I would say, Kit, is you look at the fact they've lost a hatful of games this season, their goal difference is only marginally more than the games they've lost, so they almost always lose by a single goal. They rarely get thrashed.
That's right, and it can be funny, last season when everything was going their way and they were absolutely flying, suddenly these defining moments in games and little things all go their way and they'll win 1-0. Suddenly this season
they're losing 1-0 all the time.
They're losing 1-0 by a bit of bad luck maybe, or like, as you see the goal here today, it was sort of uncharacteristic, 3 or 4 errors all in the 1 goal type thing. So it's momentum as well. Things are going your way, you're on a run, great, you feel unbeatable and get slices of luck, but then the flip side of that, when it's not going your way, they're sort of thinking, where's the next win coming from? And luckily, like I say, midweek was brilliant for them, and they've had a few wins in the cup as well, so beat Newcastle, so 4 wins out of 5 at the moment in all competitions, which is good form suddenly. So
spot on. 20 Premier League games without a win from the tail end of last for most of this. Then suddenly the wins you said in the league, plus a Plymouth win in the FA Cup, a Bristol Rovers win in the FA Cup, and just that 1 loss in between to Spurs 3-1, which is no major disgrace. To come, by the way, for Sheffield, this is huge. West Brom at home on Tuesday, then they've got Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, then it's the Cup against Bristol City, then West Ham, Fulham and Liverpool. So they've got West Brom and Fulham both in February. Those are going to be critical. They'll have to win both, won't they?
Well, they will, and I think they'll be the one team who'll be pleased to have seen West Brom equalise, and they'll take a draw at the Hawthorns today for sure.
Keeps them both within touching distance completely. Here's Foden for Man City. Meanwhile, nearly an hour played on Premier League Live. City still leading by just the 1-0. In field from Gundogan to Fernandinho. Jesus was being, I wouldn't say shoved, but was being certainly given a physical battle in the back from Egan. It rebounds to Ferran Torres, right edge of the area. Fernandinho tries the shot, blocked, and Lundstrom brings it clear for Sheffield United. Fleck maybe tries to overplay slightly. Ferran Torres tackles him, but the ball falls back to young Ethan Ampadu. His ball looking for Brewster was poor, but it cannons off a Manchester City shirt and flies straight back into the gloves of Aaron Ramsdale. City 1, Sheffield United 0. City unbeaten in 11 home meetings, as we mentioned at the start of the game, against Sheffield, and Sheffield have won none, drawn 3 and lost 6 of the last 9 Premier League meetings, scoring only once. Will the form book, I wonder, continue? Here at least do come Sheffield United through Ollie Burke, I should say. Here is Burke, who does mightily well and puts in a fine cross looking for Brewster. Diaz makes the interception. It goes loose to Bogle, who had to stretch and try for it on his right foot. That one skews high, wide and handsome. Just wonder whether Brewster could have made more of an effort to get to that cross from Burke. He didn't even get off the ground.
No, I think so. His timing was a little bit off, and so he was just coming across the front of the near post, and then because he timed it slightly wrong, he couldn't then actually get a jump. But if you had a really good play from Burke, who got right to the touchline and managed to dig it out, a little dink up, and it was a decent opportunity, but Brewster not making that opportunity, more of it, he's now been taken off, and on comes McGoldrick.
So off goes Ryan Brewster. David McGoldrick, who has scored 6 goals in all competitions. He's head and shoulders above the rest of the squad, which with the greatest of respect wouldn't be hard in terms of goal scoring, and he's scored 5 of Sheffield's 12 Premier League game goals this season. So the Irishman David McGoldrick comes on for Ryan Brewster. Different kind of player, much more of a mobile striker who can also play out wide and will huff and puff and try, and for a good while couldn't score for Toffee, but this season he's been pretty much the only semi-regular potent goal-scoring outlet for Sheffield United. Billy Sharp has chipped in with a few, the veteran club captain. McGoldrick has been largely excellent. What can he do here, I wonder? Anyway, City back on the attack. Gundogan to Phil Foden. Baldock stood his ground well, but Foden plays it off him behind for a corner. Sheffield may be saying it came off Foden last. And Foden, by the way, has got a cut by his left eye from the clash of heads. And I think you're right. I think a tooth may have done that, but he's been stitched up, patched up, and he plays on.
Yeah, I think he'll have a bit of a shiner there in the morning, though, when he wakes up. Without a doubt, he's got quite a nasty little gash side of his eye.
Left-footed delivery, looking for Fernandinho. Diving header clear for another corner. I think that was Ollie Norwood, it was, and he put his body on the line there because he was pretty close to Fernandinho's boot when he made that clearance.
Yeah, he's just having a little word with Fernandinho there about it. All good-natured stuff.
So, yet another corner to Manchester City, racking them up finally. Foden. Was there a bit of shoving there, or did that go out of play as it was delivered? I'm not sure.
No, I think he's David Coote's given a free kick. Yeah, I think there was a
bit of shoving.
A bit of a shoving from one of the Man City centre-halves coming up.
Bending short, attempted corner from Foden to the near post, and nearer the edge of the 6-yard box, there was a little bit of pushing and shoving, as Kit says. You know all about that from your day at the back, don't you? And also when you used to lumber your way forward.
No idea what you're talking. Lumber? Lumber? I was never that fast to lumber.
Ease your way forward. How about
that? Better.
Going through the gears like a well-oiled machine.
Not sure about that.
63 gone, City 1, Sheffield United 0. Ramsdale's clearance wasn't the best on that occasion. He's been pretty good ball at foot normally. Fernandinho won it, tried to poke it forward to Gundogan. It was won back by Egan. It's back to Ramsdale again, under pressure from Foden. Goes short this time to Basham, gives it back to his goalkeeper with Jesus bearing down on him. Exchange of first-time passes from Sheffield United. Basham's now under pressure on the edge of his box from Gundogan. Finds Egan, now to Baldock, and they're still trying to play it. Eventually they smack it downfield and lose it. Is there an argument you should have just done that first time?
Well, they look a bit nervy playing out. City are pressing very high at the pitch. They're in a good shape. But saying that now, they'll be able to switch the play and work out the other side. So, let's say it's something Chris wants them to do, and they're sticking to the game plan and trying to do it. They looked a little bit uneasy, a bit uncomfortable doing it, but in the end it's worked out okay. But you do sort of fear for them a little bit against teams like Manchester City, who are happy to press so high up the pitch collectively that they could lose it and then put themselves into a whole world of trouble.
Now, one of my favourite emerging young players has scored a goal. Is it for Kit's old team Crystal Palace, or is it for Wolves? It was 0-0 when we last checked in with Andrew Self.
Breaks to Ayew inside the Wolves box, goes square to the edge. Eze on his left foot, fighting it, 1-0. Well, that came from absolutely nowhere. 59th, 60th minute. Eze gets the goal.
Eberici Eze with the goal. I think he's a great player. Really, really pleased to hear that.
Yeah, really good. Actually, I texted Mark Bright when he first signed for them, and just what a great signing. And
about 16 million quid with add-ons, wasn't it? It's not cheap, but
no, not cheap. But yeah. I think it could be cheap in the end because of what a player I think he could become. And Bright he messaged back. I hope so. But I think he'll be quite pleased with what they've seen. He's scored a couple of really important goals for them so far, and this could be another one today.
Absolutely, another part of that South London talent factory from that load of pitches called the Cage, where players just fight and scrap and try and get spotted and work themselves out of very deprived and often very tough backgrounds. You can list a ton of players who've come through that, and he was another, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's a real hotbed for talent, that part of South East London, and great club, Palace, and that's I think 1 win in 9.
Yeah,
they were on going into today's game. So if they can hold on to the victory there, it'll be a big 3 points for them.
Absolutely. Signed from Queen's Park Rangers and doing the job. Eberici Eze.
So Russ Gundogan.
Yes.
Right. So it must be. Has he scored 4 in a row or?
Yeah, no. Exactly. He would be.
It would be
the first German ever in the Premier League to score in 4 consecutive games.
If he scores, okay.
If he scores, very good. You pretty much got there.
Not bad. Yeah, okay.
He scored a lot recently, but there was a little sort of hiatus where he didn't score for a game or two. So yeah, if he had the last 3 games in which he scored, if he was to score today, say no one else, even Klinsmann, nobody did it.
Impressive.
We shall see. We've teed that one up now, haven't we, hopefully? Yeah. Hope he doesn't score at the wrong end. I guess it would still count, technically. But it's unlikely. Anyway, 66 gone, City 1, Sheffield United 0. Neymar Butlins has just finished his run in Los Angeles, saying he could do with one of Brent's burgers shipped in from Montana. He deserves it. Fair enough, Neymar. We've got a bit of divine inspiration as well. The Reverend Tony Essien is listening to us in Port Harcourt in Nigeria, saying, great commentary, guys. I see this one yet finishing 2-2. Well, with a bit of divine inspiration, who knows if he's got an extra little bit of a thought. Could there be another goal here as Ferran Torres does beautifully, appeals for a penalty kick. Has he been shoved down? Ferran Torres did brilliantly. He was right near the edge of the touchline. Bogle it was who made a desperate interception. Ferran Torres absolutely on fire in this game and giving Bogle a very, very tough time.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball forward. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was Kyle Walker played the ball forward. Ooh, he takes the ball in his stride absolutely brilliantly, and he gets a little bit of a shove in the back, but
he's got away with it.
Yeah, he has got away with it.
I wasn't sure for a second if he pointed to the goal kick or to the penalty spot. It was a little bit unclear from the referee. As it is, nothing has been given, and City, to their credit, don't protest too much. There was a couple of murmurings. I've seen those given.
Yeah, me too, because he was definitely in front of Bogle, who was trying to recover.
And he wasn't going to get there any other way.
Definitely not. And he leant on him and he went down Torres. And
totally seen those given.
Yeah. So slightly fortuitous, I think, from Sheffield United point of view there.
Yeah, Bogle had one iffy moment in the first half when the ball went over his head, and Torres nearly set up Jesus for a second. It's not been the easiest of games at times. Again, for a right footer playing at left wing back with an amazing, tricky player running at you, you are slightly exposed if they try to go outside you, aren't you?
Well, you are. It's a really good ball played, and the way Torres took it in his stride, sort of on the half volley almost to control it, was exceptional. So I think anyone would have struggled to defend that, to be honest. But as you say, when it's not on your natural side, it makes it even more difficult.
Jeff Sticks listening to us while running errands in Wisconsin. He says 6 inches of snow overnight. I need a Sheffield United win to keep Manchester close in my standings. He's a Leicester City fan. Very interesting. So as a Leicester fan, Jeff Sticks from Wisconsin hoping that Manchester City don't win this game and pull further clear of the Foxes. Of course, right in that top 4, if not title fight, with Liverpool, Manchester United and Manchester City. Elsewhere, it's 1-1 West Brom, Fulham and Crystal Palace, as we were just hearing, leading their game by 1-0 against Wolves, whose largely poor form of late continues. Of course, they did draw with Chelsea in the game that I covered in midweek with David Connolly, which was something. But Wolves not really on it. Sheffield have been back on it in recent weeks, and they're still a goal down. 69 gone. Here come Manchester City. Zinchenko to Fernandinho to Kyle Walker, right edge of the box. Thought about a long-range effort. He finds Ferran Torres instead. This time Torres' delivery for once lacks a bit of conviction, takes a double deflection, and Sheffield get it up to halfway, looking for McGoldrick, and McGoldrick ploughing a bit of a lone furrow, it feels, at the moment.
Yeah, he is. He's up front alongside Oliver Burke, but they can get a little bit isolated when they're doing the closing down and some of the defensive work as strikers. It's a thankless task, to be honest, against a team like Man City, who keep possession so well. As you said, 75% I think in the first half.
There's been another goal. Sorry to interrupt you. It's at the Hawthorns. Is it for Kit's old team Fulham, or is it for fellow strugglers the Baggies? Here's Barry Swain.
It's a great ball into the box, and it's been flicked towards goal, and West Bromwich Albion lead, and it's Pereira on the end of the ball in from Diagna, and this game really has turned on its head now. West Bromwich Albion 2, Fulham 1.
Oh, that could be a hammer blow to the Cottagers. What do you reckon, Kit?
Ouch. That's not what Fulham needed whatsoever. It's a real hammer blow, having just played Brighton and West Bromwich Albion, 2 games that they would have targeted to win. Obviously a draw against Brighton, it looks like they could be getting nothing today. So
still got 20 odd minutes to go, but not good news. So 2 of Kit's old teams are winning, in Palace and Man City of course here, but his other are now losing, having been ahead. Michael L has tweeted us from, I think, a JCB in the snow. There's some serious snow, saying Brent's having a good time in Montana because he's inside. Next best thing, though, is to listen to you guys from outside in the snow. As we see a shot from distance from Zinchenko, punched clear by Ramsdale for a corner. Worth trying his arm there from Alexander Zinchenko. Ramsdale saw it every inch of the way. Made a comfortable-ish save, but nice counter-attack there, started by Bernardo Silva with Gundogan involved as well.
Yeah, it's good play from Bernardo Silva, plays it into Foden, who just sets it nicely first time for Zinchenko to run onto. He whips his foot around it, and it's a little bit of one of those saves for the cameras, if I'm perfectly honest, from Ramsdale.
I was thinking that, 'cause it's a comfortable height, wasn't it?
It was. So he needed to dive to make the save, but it's a little bit more flamboyant. But now a Man City corner from Gundogan.
Good flowing, confident team move as Gundogan swings it in, looking for Domenic Laporte, and that was perhaps another slight show save from Ramsdale, but regardless, it had to be made. Powerful header on target just beneath the bar, and Ramsdale claws it behind for another corner kick.
Yeah, it was, again, we said about Gundogan's deliveries have been very, very good. This was a slightly more flighted one, but it played in towards Laporte, who gets up above John Egan and directs his headers. Luckily for Sheffield United is right in the middle of the goal.
Foden, left-footed, deeper delivery this time. It's just over the head of Diaz, and McGoldrick gets it half clear. He was looking for Fleck. And guess what? John Fleck brings his man down, Ilkay Gundogan. He's still not been booked yet, has he? He's done well.
He had a little sneaky look at David Coote there, Fleck, as he runs away.
He's trod that tightrope big time today.
He has, and he's like I say, they've all been. Like I say, he's a good player and he's competitive, but he's given away an awful lot of fouls, and sooner or later, just a pure number of fouls, he will end up in the book. But at the moment, he's getting away.
It's the right side of it. Great work from John Fleck. Just the perfect work from a defensive midfielder. Disrupt, niggle, nurdle, but don't get booked. And he's managed 73 minutes of that so far. City 1, Sheffield United 0. Foden left-footed, swings it in. Ramsdale thought about coming, changed his mind. Actually, I think that wasn't a bad delivery, but nobody seemed to really attack it with any major purpose from City.
No, that's right. It needed someone attacking it at the far post, and no one really.
Well, actually, do you know what? Someone's shoved off the ball. Was it Laporte?
I think it's Laporte on the edge of the box.
He was maybe trying to make the run, and Pep Guardiola's come up to actually remonstrate with the officials about this, saying that Laporte was taken out without the ball.
And also, I think it's Torres. Torres was the widest. If he had, and he just stopped. If he had made his run as well, that certainly he could potentially have got there. So it wasn't a bad ball in at all, like you say. But it looks a bit of a bad ball because no one actually made the run then. So
one who couldn't be bothered, and one because he was possibly taken out. Interesting. Anyway, Pep's protestations come to nothing. King Jerry, by the way, from Jeremiah in Nigeria, saying 3-1, his prediction for the final score. And he says, up my beloved Man U next at Emirates Stadium. We shall see, King Jerry. And Patrick Moen List saying we are a diamond commentary duo. Enjoying it, folks. Well, Patrick, thank you very much indeed. And Chindendu Vigilance, kudos to your cute and crispy commentary, guys. I can't wait for my gorgeous Gunners to do the job against the Red Devils next. Well, Chindendu, we will see whether or not that is the case.
See, you accuse me of lumbering, cute and crispy. I much prefer cute and crispy.
Were you cute and crispy coming up for those corners? Or is it just your dulcet tones now?
Oh,
love it, love it. Everybody's tweets from around the world are very much valued and appreciated.
Brilliant, keep them coming.
It really is, Kit. It's an honour, isn't it, to be the global provider of this wonderful league, and just to get the insight and the humour of everybody from around the world. It's a real pleasure.
It is. It's absolutely brilliant. I say I love my times coming in and doing the commentaries for TalkSport International.
Steve H saying, let's go Chef U. Well, they're not out of it yet, but Steve, they are back on the back foot again as Bernardo Silva brings the ball forward once more. Plays a little 1-2 with Kyle Walker. Now it's with Bernardo again. 1-2 with Ferran Torres. Back again to Bernardo Silva. Around the referee to Zinchenko, who's come in field. Left-footed ball to Foden, who's in a bit of space. If he can get around Baldock, who's largely stuck to his man well, but Foden beats him this time. Finds Gundogan, left edge of the box. The German jinks one over the top, brought down by Ferran Torres to Walker, who again thought about a shot against his former club. But as it is, he goes back to Ferran Torres. It's slightly sedentary from City, but they're keeping hold of the ball, and at 1-up, and in the right half of the field, I guess arguably it's all they need to do as they are pushed back, and Sheffield United once more keep a decent shape. I just thought it might have come to something more then for a moment, Kit.
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield United were back in such a tight defensive formation that City had to try and drag them out to enable space for them to do something, and you know, Sheffield United didn't allow that to happen, so City then had to come back to try and start all over again. So sensible play from City, and as you just said, they don't have to force it because they're 1-0 up at the moment and dominating possession and dominating the game as we stand.
Here's Bernardo Silva once again to Torres and to Kyle Walker. Walker hoping to get the return pass on the right edge of the box, and again Sheffield United just about get that ball to safety. City, by the way, have kept clean sheets in the last 8 home meetings in the league against Sheffield United, so 9 meetings ago the last time they shipped a goal. City looking for a second. Good work from Phil Foden, who's had a busy and industrious few minutes. Again, he got slight change out of his man Baldock, tried to square it. Egan with the interception, and behind for yet another corner, and Sheffield United will make a double substitution coming on. Billy Sharp and Ollie McBurney, so 2 strikers coming on. Oliver Burke is one of the players to be sacrificed. We'll confirm the other in just a second for you, but yeah, Sharp, who of course got the winner against Newcastle from the penalty spot a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's right, and with McGoldrick having just come on as well, changing formation completely.
Basham's coming off.
Yeah, going to a flat back 4. Okay, and played probably Billy Sharp just behind the front two.
Bit of a 4-3-3 or 4-3-1-2. Foden with another dangerous looking corner. He was looking, I think, for, was that Diaz or Laporte? It was one of them who ended up, I think, accidentally heading an opposition player. They've headed McBurney, and McBurney is again, looked like the man he's replaced in Burke, another very stout and muscular individual, isn't he? And just trying to see who it was. It was Laporte who's now clashed heads with him, and Laporte is down. Second clash of heads of the game.
Well, McBurney's been on for about 20 seconds and got smashed on the head for his troubles.
He's fine though, he's got a rock hard head.
Yeah, but it was Laporte who was actually stumbling and fell into McBurney. But again, because he's stumbling, I think he's caught himself really flush on, although he is moving, so he's certainly not out cold. But it looked a lot more damaging to Laporte, because like I say, he was out of control and was actually stumbling and fell into Ollie McBurney. But
yeah, just a quick moment. Nina Kay has tweeted in saying she's hoping from Accra, Ghana, that Arsenal win 3-1 in our next commentary at 5:30. The teams are in. And while Emerick Laporte receives treatment, I'll just bring you those ahead of our next game. It's a huge one. Arsenal, Man United, Tom Rennie and Paul Parker in about 55 minutes' time. Arsenal have got Leno in goal, Bellerin, Lacazette, Holding, Suarez plays again, Partey, Pepe, interestingly, Luis, Emile Smith-Rowe, Xhaka and Martinelli. Runarsson is back as the sub-keeper, which is an interesting shout. Gabriel is on the bench, as is Martin Ødegaard. The rest of their bench is Willian, Maitland-Niles, Chambers, Elneny, Willock and Nketiah. Man United, De Gea in goal, Lindelof is back, Maguire, the captain, Pogba, Cavani, Rashford, Fred, Bruno Fernandes, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka and McTominay. On the bench, Henderson by Martial, Greenwood, James, Telles, Matic, Van der Beek and Axel Tuanzebe. Those are the lineups. Just quickly to that point from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at half-time. Do you think they can only play and only win when Bruno Fernandes is on song? Ollie, of course, tried to say that isn't the case.
No, which of course he would, because suddenly if he's out for a game, that's it. Plans out the window. What do we do? Type thing. So no, but he has been, and you can't take it away from him since he's turned up at Manchester United. He's been so influential with his goals and his assists. I think it's almost like one per game for putting the two together, goals and assists. It's been phenomenal, and he's been so influential in Manchester United, and when they play well, he's pivotal to it. He's a bit like De Bruyne is for Man City, so it's far from a one-man team, and they can play without him, without a doubt, of course they can, but when he's there, he's very, very influential and often dictates, and he's the main go-to man. So yeah, Solskjaer would obviously say that, and I get what he's saying, but he's so important to them, Fernandes.
Phil Foden's been in the wars, receiving end of a tackle from Baldock, free kick that doesn't really go very far. City have got the ball in their own half. We'll just quickly see where this goes, because there's been another goal in the West Brom Fulham game. We'll go there in a moment to Barry Swain. But Gundogan is right up to the left edge of the penalty area for Manchester City. Plays a 1-2 with Alexander Zinchenko to Fernandinho. City switching the passage of play from left to right. Now that dangerous little trio combining of Walker, Torres and Bernardo Silva. They're going back, so while they do so, let's head to the Hawthorns. 2-1 West Brom last time we heard.
Harrison Reid, that's a lovely ball in, and a diving header, and an equaliser for Fulham. And it's a brilliant goal from Ivan Cavallero, but what a ball into the box from Harrison Reid.
Cavallero set up by Reid. Kit will be happy about that. We'll go there in a moment, because City are back on the attack through Bernardo Silva here. Again, Sheffield United keeping a good shape through Fleck and through one of the new men as well in the form of Sharp. City pushed all the way back to their own goalkeeper, Ederson. They lead 1-0, but Fulham are back to 2-2, Kit.
Yeah, brilliant from a Fulham perspective. It sounds like a really exciting game there, and things have really livened up now, so it should be last 10-15 minutes or so of that game should be really exciting.
Yeah, don't forget, if Sheffield United had won here and if West Brom had lost, Sheffield would have actually gone off the bottom of the table on goal difference, and even that itself, I think, given where Sheffield were a couple of weeks ago, would have been almost inconceivable and would have been a mammoth achievement. As it is, though, Sheffield are just the one goal down. West Brom have been pulled back to 2-2. Lovely little mazy run from Foden. Beats two players. Tried to beat the third, which was Baldock, the man who just fouled him. And for, I think, repeated fouling, Baldock on Foden once more. George Baldock goes into the book. Not the worst individual challenge, but I guess there's been 2 or 3 in the last few minutes, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has. But, I mean, it's a lovely run from Phil Foden. He picked the ball up and just glided, looked so elegant running with the ball with almost a bit of a language style, obviously left-footed, glided past 2 or 3 players and Baldock just brought him down and picked up a booking for his trouble as well. But lovely from Phil Foden.
Okay, 82 gone. Man City 1, Sheffield United 0. Foden's having a good little spell. Gundogan has been a constant threat throughout the game, even if he hasn't scored. That 4 in 4. 9 goals this season, okay, Gundogan. Remember, he went pretty much 20 months without a Manchester City goal. He's been unstoppable. Now, this is much better from Sheffield United. Great play from Billy Sharp, who chested it down to David McGoldrick. 1-2 now between Sharp and McBurney. Billy Sharp's got 4 Manchester City players around him, and through sheer weight of numbers, if nothing else, they win it back off the Sheffield United club skipper. Poor old Billy Sharp there. Nice bit of football, but then you look up and you're literally surrounded by the opposition.
That's right, really tough. And we were talking actually about the shape, Sheffield United shape, now that they've made the changes and brought on now McGoldrick, McBurney and Billy Sharp. And it looks like McGoldrick's playing slightly deeper, so McBurney and Sharp sort of like as wide strikers and McGoldrick just in behind them, almost in a number 10 role.
At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. Ball over the top looking for Foden. Baldock now has to be careful on his yellow card, but gets there and finds John Egan, the returning captain from suspension. Lovely run initially, but Egan overplays and gives the ball away to Fernandinho. Then he fouls the veteran Brazilian, and he's getting a yellow card as well. It was pretty blatant, that, right in front of the referee as well.
Yeah, it was. Initially, it was a good breakout from Egan. Did really, really well, but then he gave away the ball, trying to slide it inside. Fernandinho intercepted, and Egan was so far up the pitch and out of position that
took one for the team.
Took one for the team, basically, exactly.
Which you would never do.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Lumbering or not.
No, wouldn't dream of such a thing. But picked up a booking and can have no arguments really.
Carol has finished her cranberry and walnut swirls, by the way, in America, in Florida, and says, please, Man City, keep pressing and effectively don't take your eye off this one. And you're right, Carol, because at 1-0, even though they've been largely dominant, all it takes is a moment of bad luck, a moment of lapse, a moment of brilliance from the opposition, and all of a sudden that 11-game winning run in the Premier League could come to an end.
Well, that's the only thing, exactly as you say, Russ. They've been so dominant, and Sheffield United have not really had a sniff in this second half. There's only just over 5 minutes to go, but when you've got your McBurneys, Billy Sharp, McGoldrick on the pitch, just one thing falls nicely, or one City slip, and it could suddenly become 1-1.
Good header under pressure from Laporte there, up against Ollie McBurney. Here comes Sheffield again. Lundstrom with a great nutmeg of Fernandinho. Here's Baldock with options either side. He finds McBurney up against Zinchenko. Good challenge from the Ukrainian. Real physical mismatch that against the stocky McBurney. And it goes out for no more than a Sheffield United throw. Lanre K. Odilami has likened this match to a disappointing 4-course meal. He says City with a great early starter, but when's the rest of it coming? Very nice analogy. Could it be maybe the opposition that Nick won? Oh, John Fleck with a lovely shot on the half turn, and it's just wide of Ederson's left-hand post. Great strike from the Scot. Ederson was in trouble, and it was just wide of his left-hand post.
Well, that's all it takes. It was a huge diagonal forward. Billy Sharp backed in to Kyle Walker, chested the ball back, and we spoke about Fleck's niggly little fouls and some of his tackles today, but that was a fantastic strike with his left foot and very, very narrowly wide. Really good opportunity for Sheffield United.
Would have been his first of the season as well. Blimey, very close, and probably the best chance, I would say, that Sheffield United have had. They've engineered a few half opportunities, but that was a proper edge of the seat moment.
Well, it was, and that's their best one in the second half, certainly, and goes to show it now, out of nothing. It's just literally a big, long diagonal ball forward, but when you've got a couple of physical presences now up front, that's not a bad option, especially at this stage of the game.
Now, Billy Sharp has also very cleverly drawn the foul from, I guess, what would have been his former teammate, wouldn't it, in Kyle Walker. Billy Sharp has been there so long that I'm pretty sure he would have been there when Kyle was. Sharp just cleverly stood up and kind of drew a little nudge in the back from Kyle Walker. He's incensed and is protesting. But the referee was well placed and made his decision quickly. David Coote. Net result is a Sheffield United free kick on the far touchline, and with a nice angle with 3 minutes to go on Premier League Live to sweep this one in. That's done by Fleck, looking for McGoldrick. McGoldrick, I think, slipped as he fizzed his way toward the edge of the 6-yard box, and as a result, he was unmarked, but he couldn't get the necessary connection that he needed, the Irishman.
No, there's a little bit going on the edge of the box. A couple of people being pushed over and what have you, but a decent ball in, but yeah, came to nothing in the end and cleared.
This is better again from Sheffield United. McBurney controlling it well again to find McGoldrick. Here's Fleck on the left-hand side, who's like a man possessed. He gets past Walker, ball in field. Bogle, shot from distance, came in the end from Oliver Norwood. Cannoning off a Manchester City shirt. I think it was Gundogan back defending. Torres is back defending. So's Bernardo Silva. Here comes Fleck again. Another great delivery. And that's well claimed by Ederson. It came on a tricky half volley. A couple of Sheffield United strikers were trying to make nuisances of themselves, and Ederson, in his black fetching goalkeeping garb, did well there.
He did very, very well. Now, he's not had an awful lot to do in the game at all. But
and that's key, isn't it, to keep your concentration when you're not busy?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as the ball was a decent delivery and whipped in with great pace. And there was, I'm not sure it was, there's a defender just in front of him. I think it was Diaz, actually. And a horrible ball. And you're thinking, if the defender goes to play, that could easily be an own goal. But he really took charge of the situation, Ederson, and gathered the ball comfortably in the end.
Now at the other end, it's Man City back on the attack. Fernandinho to Gabriel Jesus, who's been quiet in recent minutes, finds Foden. Nice little 1-2 between the pair. Baldock is being drawn out wide, as is Egan. Can City capitalise in the middle? They need to whip this ball in a little quicker. Foden back to Jesus, who goes down, and that is a Sheffield United throw. Jesus thinks he was fouled, but it was good stout weight of numbers and good physicality from Chris Wilder's men. Oh, after all of that, though, the clearance downfield is then hurried and shanked out of play. All the good work is undone.
Well, that's right, and certainly Man City won't be in any sort of rush to take this throw-in now. Looks like they're going to make a substitution as well.
Yeah, just easing things down. I think that might well have been Eric Garcia. We'll just double-check in a moment, but one of the younger fraternity from Manchester City could be coming on in a second. Jeremy Clinton, by the way, says, great commentary you all. I'm looking forward to Arsenal Man United. My dear Arsenal will win 2-1. That's from Clinton in Port Harcourt in Nigeria. We appreciate your thoughts on that. As we just await this Manchester City substitution, and you're right, might as well just use a little bit of time. Ferran Torres is coming off, and sorry, it's Rodri. He is young, but he's a bit more experienced than some of the others. It's Rodri wearing 16 who's going to be coming on for Ferran Torres. So striker off, defensive midfielder on, and we've got Fernandinho and Rodri in the same team for the final few moments to maybe try and see this one through, Kit.
Yeah, well, suddenly we were saying, Sheffield United playing that longer ball. Billy Sharp backing into Kyle Walker was causing problems, so now they got that stronger defensive screen with two sort of big physical presences of Fernandinho as well now to sort of screen that back four. So yeah, sensible, understandable substitution from Manchester City point of view.
Now 5 additional minutes on the big screen. Of course, we had a pair of head injuries twice, didn't we, during this second half? So just the 1 additional minute at the end of the first half, 5 more for Sheffield United to try and get something. Bernardo Silva's gone down clutching the back of his head under a challenge from Jayden Bogle in the air, and quite rightly, I think, play on. I think the little Portuguese just lost out fair and square there as Bogle oversells his pass. Fleck was never going to get there, and all John Fleck can do is again shank the ball out of play. And I say shank because James Pickard has tweeted us from Tampa, Florida. Listen to this. We of course can't play golf because of COVID here. It's one of the things that's banned. But James says, I'm having a nice round of golf, listening to you guys on the radio when I make my trips back to the golf cart between shots. It's made a beautiful day even more enjoyable. What'd be even better is if the Gunners win later on. Hashtag Erdgard as well. But James Pickard, bit of golf in the sunshine in Florida, and us in his golf cart. That's great.
Great, but it's torture for us, Russ. It's like, I mean, we're watching this great game of football. So,
we are.
Fair play, but
all appeals for a handball. Zinchenko finding Foden. It's behind for a corner off Baldock. Baldock is saying, what else can I do in that situation? Zinchenko completely disagrees and is saying to the referee that should have been a penalty. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, he can't do much about that. Corner all day long.
He's so close to him, and
he's turned his back.
And again, I agree it shouldn't be a penalty, but he moves his hand out, his arms away from his body, and you know how how sometimes these decisions can be this year. It's no way, in my opinion, should be a penalty. But you can see why City appealed for it, because so many have been given if your arm's away from the body.
Well, the ref has decided not to go to VAR and take ownership of the situation himself, and I think we largely respect that. The theory is, of course, is if he gets it wrong when he does that, but there again, of course, he probably would have had his fourth official from Stockley Park screaming in his ear. But he's rightly, I think, said, you know what, I don't think that is. Let's get on unless I hear otherwise. So, well done to David Coote, and maybe that's the kind of process we want to see more and more of.
I think common sense from referees is the biggest skill they can have, and in some respects it's almost been taken away from them now.
Loose ball, what can Sheffield United do here? Billy Sharp trying to find McBurney again about 8 yards out. Those two subs have combined well with McGoldrick. Ball just wouldn't sit frustratingly for Sheffield United to get a shot away, and Sheffield have committed serious bodies forward. There were aching, yawning gaps at the back. Can Phil Foden capitalise? Can Jesus capitalise? Oh, what a save from Aaron Ramsdale. Jesus through one-on-one, Foden threading the eye of the needle, and that's a brilliant stop from Aaron Ramsdale to keep the Blades just about in this one and time added on.
Yeah, it really was an absolutely wonderful save. I mean, Foden did really well. The time of the pass, the weight of the pass, it's on Jesus' favoured right foot, and he's opened his body up, but Ramsdale flings himself to his left-hand side to make an exceptional save. 2 minutes to go of the 5 added on, and it's, you know, they've had a real go, Sheffield United, and they've had a couple of opportunities, even leading to that counter-attack. It was a long ball forward, and it nearly broke for them. And you know, the substitutions have made them brighter, but City will just try and kill the game off now.
Well, they're slowly kind of bumbling around by the corner flag, just playing the ball from player to player and ricocheting it off a Sheffield United player, just killing time. Now they burst clear. An injection of quality from Bernardo Silva, who weaves his way through two players, tries to get a shot in that's blocked by David McGoldrick, who was back helping out. We've got a minute and a bit of the 5 still to go, as Sheffield United still only one down after that Ramsdale wonder save. They've got the chance to maybe nick something. Egan, long ball downfield, looking for McBurney. Headed down, and he can't quite find Bogle under pressure, and Manchester City win it back, and City, for all of their billions, for all of their brilliance, are happy to just smash the ball back downfield. Blimey.
Yeah, well, this is
Don't see that too often.
No, this is why Guardiola made the substitution, bringing Rodri on, because he knew they were going to be up against a bit of an onslaught now from Sheffield United. Long balls forward,
and now McGoldrick has clashed with Rodri, and the free kick has gone City's way. Rodri will take an eternity to get up, Laporte taking an eternity to help him up. 20 seconds to go. I think that's probably the game now, Kit.
Yeah, it should be certainly. I mean, Zinchenko initially got a bit of a whack off McGoldrick, and then Rodri had a bit of a clash. So they're chucking everything at it, Sheffield United, but it looks like it's going to be just not quite enough.
Looking like yet another narrow defeat for Sheffield United, but still, with those above them only drawing, don't forget, still with a few moments to go, West Brom and Fulham being 2-2. Palace, by the way, still beating Wolves 1-0. There is the final whistle. And Manchester City do make it an incredible 12 straight wins in all competitions, unbeaten in 19 in all competitions, and they've now won 8 straight in the Premier League as well. The Man City Colossus, the juggernaut, just keeps chugging along. Sheffield United stay rock bottom with great fight, great hope, but in the end, Ferran Torres' tireless work and an early strike at the second time of asking from Gabriel Jesus is the difference between the teams. Wilder and Guardiola embrace in as socially distant a manner as possible on the touchline, and Pep's men get the job done at the Etihad once more. It's finished. Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0 on Premier League Live. Now, Ferran Torres has hunted down what appeared to be a dead cause here and has won the ball on the dead ball line, and he's got past 2 players. A chance for Jesus, who scores! That was all about Ferran Torres, who did brilliantly to keep the ball in play. He wove his way past 3 players. Ramsdale nearly made the block prone on the floor, but Gabriel Jesus gets a much needed goal.
Brilliant from Torres, and in the end, a good finish from Jesus, but poor defending from Sheffield United. They'll be very, very disappointed with that.
Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0. Could it be maybe the opposition that Nick won? Oh, John Fleck with a lovely shot on the half turn. and it's just wide of Ederson's left-hand post. Great strike from the Scot. Ederson was in trouble, and it was just wide of his left-hand post.
Fantastic strike with his left foot, and very, very narrowly wide. Really good opportunity for Sheffield United.
Yeah, Fleck going very close indeed, and then Ramsdale's wonder save at the end to stop it being 2. Probably a fair result, but again, you still think maybe Sheffield could yet somehow stay up with this kind of fight and largely this kind of camaraderie. It's hard to say, isn't it? I kind of want them to, because I'm so impressed, but they've just been so bad for so much of this season, and at times so unlucky. I wonder whether it's too much. I don't know.
Well, they've given themselves an awful lot to do, and especially now as teams just outside that relegation zone look like they're picking up as well. Newcastle, massive win today. Burnley had a couple of big results lately. So
Palace, you could argue as well.
Palace as well. We're on a shocking run. So suddenly it's like, well, okay, but they might improve, and they have improved, and results will improve, but still maybe too much to do.
Full times then. Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0 through Eberici Eze. West Brom 2, Fulham 2 was the final score. Fulham ahead, West Brom coming from behind to lead before Fulham equalise. Of course, our game, Man City 1, Sheffield United 0, Everton 0, Newcastle 2 the other result. So the table has City now 4 points clear of Man U. They've both played 20 games, and City with a plus 14 better goal difference as well. But as we know, Man United play in just a few minutes' time live on Premier League Live as they head to Arsenal. Looking at the rest of the table as a result of today, Everton slip to 7th, Crystal Palace climb 1 place to 13th, Wolves drop 1 down to 14th, Newcastle stay 16th but have opened up a bit more daylight. They've got 22 points, Kit. Brighton 17th with 18, and then in the relegation zone, Fulham 14, West Brom 12, Sheffield United 8, of which Brighton and Fulham have played 1 less than Newcastle, West Brom and Sheffield. That's how the table stands. Do you think we're looking at Fulham, West Brom and Sheffield going down, or do you think someone will overtake somebody?
Well, it's looking at, who can they sort of pull into it. So if Fulham had beaten Brighton the other night, you're thinking, okay, then they're pulling them back into it now. But they're possibly, Brighton are possibly the only other team. I mean, listen, there's still an awful lot of football to play, and things can change. But like I say, now with Newcastle picking up wins, Burnley picking up wins, Wolves could get sucked into it, but you wouldn't think so. They should be, and they're good enough as well should be good enough to make sure they're okay. But yeah, it's not looking great for Sheffield United. Although they're improving, to get enough points to stay up is going to be a monumental task.
Okay, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed to the former Manchester City defender Kit Simons. Next up, I'm behind the mic for this one as well on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. UK time, Burnley against Manchester City. Should be an interesting Northwest derby. Then it's Liverpool away, then Swansea in the Cup, then Spurs, then Arsenal, then Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Champions League, then West Ham. 8 huge games for Manchester City in February. Thanks to everybody's tweets at TalkSport Live. Roosevelt Franklin in St. Louis, Missouri, now weaving some of our phrases into his daily lingo. He says, breaking my duck, he tried on the locals, which has bemused them completely. Roosevelt, brilliant tweet. We appreciate it. Here at the Etihad, Manchester City have won by 1-0 against Sheffield United, and that's definitely whetted the appetite for Tom Rennie and Paul Parker next. Arsenal Man United on Premier League Live.
Stream Leicester v Leeds and West Ham v Liverpool this Sunday, live with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass.
The team that's been in electrifying form.
With Now TV, you can stream a whole month of live Premier League action or only pay for the games that matter to you with the day or month pass. It's your sport on your terms with Now TV.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home, to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Scoil Céile. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie.
As we know, keeping active and looking after your well-being is challenging right now. At Harvey Norman, we have the latest range of connected fitness and health products to help you understand more about your health, everyday stress, sleep patterns, and more. Like the TicWatch GTX smartwatch, packed with key features, including a unique bezel design, fitness tracking, sleep monitoring, and a long battery life. Available now for only €99. See harveynorman.ie for our full range of connected fitness and health products. Available for home delivery or click and collect.
Welcome back to Cadbury's Find a Legend, Win a Legend.
What a competition, Ian. And they've just got to pick up a Cadbury pack for the chance to win.
They could score Petr Cech's incredible VIP weekend at Chelsea, or there's Robbie Fowler's luxury Liverpool experience.
Or a VIP match day with me, Gary Neville. Results.
Find a Legend shirt inside your Cadbury pack to win big. Plus thousands more prizes at legends.cadburyfc.com. T's and C's apply.
There's certain matchday sounds we are all missing. But there are others we don't have to. Is Carlsberg Pilsner the best beer to enjoy while watching the match at home? Probably. Carlsberg Pilsner, probably the best beer in the world. Enjoy Carlsberg sensibly. Visit drinkaware.ie.
Grant has been providing reliable, efficient and affordable home heating technology for over 40 years.